Welcome back to the Panel Focus Podcast. This is episode 7, and I'm your host, Yato. Once again, I'm joined with my co host, Knox,
What up?
Weeb,
What's up?
and Traffy.
What's good?
And on this channel, we talk about 9 different weekly manga that you should be reading. Those manga include Chainsaw Man, Centuria, Dandadan, Gachiakuta, or Gachiakuta if you're cool, Galaxias, Ranger Reject, Ichi the Witch, Astro Royale, and Kagurabachi to finish it out. There will be timestamps in the description to help you skip segments from manga that you may not be following yet for some reason. Like I always say, we got some great chapters this week, but before we jump into it, I want to remind you that like the video and subscribe if you aren't already. And don't forget to drop comments below. I know a lot of YouTubers hide from their comment sections, but we don't do that. We respond to about 80% of them. And a really good example of that would be, taking a look at our new thumbnail style. Someone had a great comments about it in our comment section, and we immediately implemented it. So feedback and fun things to say. Also, feel free to let Traffy know he's wrong about stuff. But with all of that out of the way, let's jump into some manga, starting with Chainsaw Man chapter 182. Cute.
I just be taking strays.
Yeah.
You gonna get them, baby.
you don't take those strays too.
I didn't even do anything. No, okay.
You in the intro. But since I gave you a stray to start, let's hear your thoughts for Chainsaw Man Traffington.
All right. So the most interesting part about this chapter for me is definitely the implication of Denji throwing up the Snow Devil and how that ties back into a lot of theories that have been floating around in regards to why Pochita ate the devils that he ate, which I think is really interesting because he's essentially eating devils that are related to painful memories not painful, but memories that can lead to pain for Denji because of the loss he's experienced, which is why we get the scene with him throwing up the Snow Devil, and then immediately after we see Aki and Power on a boat in the snow. And I just think that is such a phenomenal way to write both the Denji and Pochita.
Yeah,
I like that.
I love that.
Something about another reason I really love setting we have this podcast where we talk about manga is like I didn't think of that shit at all. I did not at all think about Pochita doing that purposely to Denji's gonna throw this shit up one day and it's gonna give him some necessary character development that he's really lacking right now because he's a hornball and I'm a little dog devil and sometimes he needs to get a slap in the face, so this will slap him really good.
Well, I don't think it was necessarily a slap. I think it's more so Pochita was trying to protect him, because if he thinks back on these good moments where he had his friends and now they're gone, it's going to hurt him more as he goes through life.
Okay.
So if Pochita essentially makes him erase those memories, then he won't feel as much pain about the loss of his friends.
I like that. So getting rid of Snow so that he can never see Snow again, in theory, and then just never have this memory or whatever.
Yeah.
Okay. I like that. I like where you're going with it.
Yeah, and I mean, otherwise with this chapter, it's really just great seeing Asa and Denji growing, because it's like it starts off with a conversation between Denji and Yoru, because he's like, "Why do you keep coming on to me? It clouds my mind. I can't grow. I can't heal when you're doing this to me." And
you're interrupting the progress in my writing.
Yeah. And Yoru actually starts opening up too. And it's not she's like, "But I got over it. You can get over it too." It's like the most ingenuine way to help someone, because you're just like, "I did this, so you can do it too."
Yeah. Oh my God. And sorry, that just reminds me of so many people who when you tell them how hard your day was, they just gotta one up you and go yeah, but I had a rough day before too, and I'm still staying. It's bro, I don't give a fuck. I'm
Stop
going through
making
it right
everything
now,
about you.
Right.
Yeah, it's that's nothing. Yesterday and it's dude.
Yeah, it's bro, I'm currently hurting right now, bro. I don't give a fuck about what you got over or what you survived. I am hurting.
It's like when you tell someone you're depressed or something, and they're like, "Well, just be happy." What?
Yeah, if it was that easy, we wouldn't be needing to have this conversation in the first place.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but it does evolve because, Asa punches herself in the face to turn back into herself, and she actually has a genuine moment with Denji where she's talking about her past and how she blames herself for the death of her mother. And, Denji's like, "How did you get over it?" And she basically just says, "Chainsaw helped me do it." And we don't really get a good explanation as to how, but you could assume maybe it's like Asa's feelings for Denji, and she's just referring to Chainsaw Man to kind of be like shy about it.
Mhm.
Like she's saying, Chainsaw Man taught me something on how to move forward, but in reality, she wants to say Denji.
I like that.
Yeah,
I don't know.
very nice.
Something that caught my eye a lot was just the visible frustration and like the different feelings that you could see in Denji's face. Like when she's saying when Yoru was in control, she says, like you, I lost people who were like family to me," and you could see Denji kind of looking over at her like okay, this is kind of relatable or whatever. Like, is she, for a second, you can see that he's kind of like feeling what she's saying, and there's some empathy and shit there. But then when she says, "But I got over it," the next time you see Denji, he looks like he's sick of this shit. Like, fuck this, Like he's in the same pose, but his eye has like closed up slightly, and his lip isn't like as in shock or whatever. He's just like he looked like he's tired of, already. Like, she doesn't get it. She's just trying to do the thing where it's like, you can do it if I did it, and
Yeah.
that, and even that point that you just talked about where when she swapped back to Asa, and so it's interesting because I'm wondering, like, does Denji not realize that they're two different people here? Because like
I mean,
we
he's kind of dense.
yeah,
It's
he's
Denji.
stupid. Yeah, and I was gonna say it's not like a Sukuna situation where like the tattoos are visible, but like I'm pretty sure
The scars are though, right?
yeah, I think so because the octopus dude, I forgot his name in the moment, but he
Yoshida.
commented. Yeah, Yoshida commented on the scars. I'm pretty sure, but like here,
Yeah.
it's like when Yoru is in control, she's like, "But I got over it, so you can too." But then when Asa is in control, he's like, "So how did you get over it?" Assuming it's the same person, and suddenly she's like, "There's no way I could ever get over that. It's just not possible." And this is like, "Huh?" Like, to me, he's like, "But you just said you got over it," because he doesn't realize it's two different people, I'm thinking.
Yeah, so I think that because on page 6, when he's like, "I'm hopeless," and then Asa Yoru, whichever one it may be, I think it's kind of like ambiguous on purpose because the hair is covering the face, like wherever the
Yeah.
scars would be, and her head is turned. It's like, I felt hopeless too. I like you. I lost people who were like family to me. Like, that sounds. I guess that could be Yoru, but like it could also like be Asa. And then it also kind of feels like, because the face is exposed on the next page, on page 7, it's like, "But I got over it. If I can get over it, you can too." So like, does that confirm that it was Yoru speaking?
I
Or
think
is
it
that like
does.
Yoru speaking just to continue the sentence of Asa? Do you
I
know what I
think
mean? Because yeah.
I
It
think it
does.
was Yoru, and she was referring to like the Gun Devil and the Tank
Oh,
Devil.
sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, that makes a lot of sense. That
And
makes a lot of
just
sense.
just in the same sense of like last time when she was having the conversation with Asa with the when they were firing at Denji, and it was just like you could tell that she was having fun, and it was like, what's wrong, this is what I wanted to do this whole time, and it was like Asa had no idea what revenge and having Yoru reach her goal will look like. It's like
Yeah.
Yoru is like so disconnected from like human feelings or whatever. So it's like she immediately jumps and is just like, "Fuck it, bro, you could just get over that shit," because she's not
Yeah.
human.
Yeah, and it has to be Yoru, because why would the dialogue be like, "I lost people who were like family to me," whereas
Yeah,
then when Asa takes control over the body again, she says specifically who she lost, where her mom was her mom or whatever.
I
You know what I
don't
mean? So it's yeah,
I don't think your point is completely moot though, Knox, because it is purposely hiding her face, and these are words that can come from both Yoru and Asa. So I think there's a reason, like art wise, that it was portrayed like that, because it's not from one character, it's from both of them.
from both of them exactly.
Yeah.
That's a good point.
maybe it's just hidden though, just because like at the time, like before turning the page, we're not supposed to know, but like once you turn the page, it's like, okay, yeah, that was just Yoru.
Yeah,
Because
Maybe.
like, I mean, if you go back, in time, it's like, yeah, I don't know who's saying it now, but then you turn the page and it's like, yeah. So I think for sure 100% it was always Yoru, because
yeah.
like you said, it's Asta just straight up says like, "My mom was killed." Like, she says, "I lost family," and Yoru says, "I
Yeah.
lost people who were like family." So
Right, because like Yoru doesn't actually have like the same concept of family that like a human person would, with like, a biological mom or dad or like whatever kind of like guardian that they would specifically state as, the significant person in their life that they lost. Whereas like Yoru kind of has to, have a roundabout way of like addressing whatever this family concept is, just because of how different of an existence she is than an actual human.
Yeah.
So it makes sense that the
Yeah.
dialogue would be different there for her. I really like that the dialogue bubble that we talked about a little bit earlier, where Traffy was like talking about how Asa, was speaking to Chainsaw Man slash Denji about how, like, you taught me that I still have something to live for, something I look forward to so much that I'm willing to eat a crap burger. I think that is like directly related to the fact that like Denji's kind of like motivations, or like the circumstances in his life have kind of like reset multiple times from the beginning of Chainsaw Man Part 1 till now. Like at first it was just like, yo, I'm trying to get out of this debt from the Yakuza. I'm selling my body parts and I'm like living like a fucking worm in a gutter and it's shit his ass. I just want to live normally. Makima pulls up, gives him like a newfound lease on life, basically, on like a different way that he can live. And then like that is kind of accomplished like by the end of, or I mean, I guess throughout Part 1. But then by the end of Part 1, he's like, okay, now that I've like kind of like done everything that I wanted to do, I've lost power, I've lost Aki, like this whole Pochita situation is like kind of different, but like, because his circumstances have kind of like reset after eating Makima and acquiring Nayuta. Now he's like, okay, so this is my life now. You know what I mean? And then that gets kind of like erased and taken away, and you can like still kind of see that he is trying to continuously find new reasons to live,
Yeah.
after hard resets like in his life when like traumatic things happen or whatever. And just like that ability to continue and just like find something new to live for no matter what happens to you is like really inspiring to Asa, I think, is what she's trying to say.
Yeah. And just to not skip out on the very beginning of the chapter, where, they're finishing up their kiss, I want to bring up something that I saw people discussing in regards to 181 and the ending with the kiss. Because people were saying, they were defending her kissing him without consent because she was trying to snap him out of it. And this chapter really just like it blows that
What's that
theory out.
down? Yeah.
Yeah, because it's like, because you're cute when you cry. Like, Yoru is
Okay.
genuinely feeling Denji, and
Yeah.
she doesn't know how to be human, so she's doing what we would consider as bad things or not normal things.
Yeah. You guys
Yeah,
do
but
this, don't you?
that she assumes makes sense for a human to do, because she's
Yeah.
trying to like lean into these new human feelings that she
Yeah.
has no choice but to feel, you know what I mean, because
And
she shares
it's
this body with this human girl. So
yeah. And those thoughts from Asa are probably like seeping into, so it's just like,
and
she
influencing her. Yeah.
she probably thinks like, oh, girls want to kiss and guys like kissing, so like, yeah, let's
This is
fucking
what I'm going to
kiss.
do because you're making me feel new things, and
Yeah.
I have to try to emulate what I think human beings would do in situations like this. But I'm still very ignorant, clearly, on exactly what like the proper like protocol is in situations like these, because I'm a fucking devil who's like just now learning to become human, basically.
Yeah.
And I am curious if this is like a semi Makima situation. Like, is she in love with Denji or is she in love with Chainsaw Man?
I think this is
It
a
could be a mix
dingy
of
thing.
both.
Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead. Speak your piece, because I think we've been kind of running straight, man. What's your thoughts?
Yeah,
Yeah.
no, I was trying to deal with something with my mic not picking up my sound.
Oh.
All right,
Ooh.
it's fine. We're all good now since you can actually hear me.
Okay.
No, but
Uh-oh.
like I think it's kind of a mix of both to an extent. Like she started to actually feel something for Chainsaw Man, but then as she spent time with Denji beforehand, before forgetting about their time together, their little date and everything, it might have started festering over time. Once she found out that Chainsaw Man and Denji were the same person, it just kind of clicked for her,
Yeah.
and so that's why she's kind of like all in trying to help him, because she knows. It's also a fact that she knows what it's like to share a body right now, so she kind of wants him out of it despite everything, because she wants him to have a normal life. And probably it could also be like a sense for her, like thinking that if I can find a way to get Denji out of this, for him to have a normal life, maybe I could somehow get out of this thing with Yoru, especially now that she's like, oh right, she's a devil. How the
Oh,
fuck could I
okay.
forget that?
So you were seeing this from Asa's point of view.
Yeah.
That's what okay. Yeah, I thought you were talking about yours. So okay, that makes
Oh
sense.
yeah, no. Yeah, no. Yoru is kind of. I think you kind of nailed it. You nailed it earlier. Like she's still trying to figure out everything that's going on now that she's starting to seemingly feel all of us as emotions, trying to work all this out, doing it in the most harebrained, ridiculous way possible, due to being emotionally, I don't know, void of understanding
Yeah.
of how humans act. So it's interesting.
It does mean a lot to me that Denji can at least acknowledge like his own shortcomings and like the shitty characteristics that he has, like when he's like, I can't reflect on my mistakes for shit like that. And whenever somebody starts being sexual around me, it's just I can't help myself. But like he wants to be better. He says he's hopeless.
Yeah.
It's like he knows that like he isn't going about things the right way, but he just can't help it. Yeah. It's like
It hits so close to home because I've been in that same situation, not specifically in regards to
damn, you was
Denji's
a
problem.
hornball?
Hey, yo,
No.
hold on. You're
No.
a victim. No.
Not specifically in Denji's situation, but the idea that there's something about yourself that you want to fix, and you can see that, but you can't help it no matter how hard you try. It hits so close to home for me because I've been there, and that's always something that I enjoy about Fujimoto's writing, because as wacky and crazy as it can get, there are so many moments that are just so relatable on a much tamer scale.
Yeah. Speaking of that, off topic a little bit, but still on the Fujimoto topic, I watched Look Back this week with my wife.
Same.
She doesn't like anime or anything like that, so she said it was ass. She did not feel the movie at all, but the whole time we were watching, I was crying like a bitch. She never
Same.
saw me because I kept that shit. I was just like, I was reaching over the other side of the bed to like grab like a drink and wipe my eye, but bro, I was balling up, yeah. And I was just like so sad that she didn't fuck with it, bro. I was like, bro, this shit is killing me. It's beautiful, man.
Secretly wiping the tears
Bro.
like pops.
Yeah, bro. Like I was wiping the fuck out of my tears, and they just kept coming, bro. And I was like yawning and stuff. So like, if she like asked, I'm like, yeah, I was just a little tired. Got something in my eye, but she was not feeling it, and I was just like, man, this shit is really getting to me, Like the man has a way of writing some relatable stories, even though I've never fucking wrote a manga before. Like I could put myself in those characters' shoes. Yeah,
Well, Look Back is more of the journey of any kind of artist or creative person, and so it's easy to hit home, especially for someone who makes YouTube videos. It's you're pouring your heart out into the art that you create by creating content, and it hits close to home. Yeah.
And it's such an interesting contrast in stories like Chainsaw Man and probably Fire Punch 2 that have like these like wildly inhuman elements to them that he always makes sure to strike a proper balance between that inhuman, those inhuman concepts and like very human moments alongside of them, like very relatable, things that like most people probably go through at points in their life. You know what I mean? He incorporates that like alongside these like supernatural, evil, demonic, devil concepts as well, so that you can be like, oh, okay, so this is the farthest thing away from humanity, and then right alongside it is something that is very close to home at the same time for humans. So it's I don't know, it just makes it feel that much better when you have like the side by side like that running throughout the story. Yeah.
Speaking of Fire Punch, the snowy forest panel, that shit gave me PTSD. Like I was having flashbacks to Fire Punch, and I was like, everything's gonna go to shit now. I was like, oh no, I can't take this.
I didn't think about Fire Punch when I saw that. I just I didn't really have like, I was just like, wow, up the Snow Devil. Like when he was barfing, I thought he was about to laugh. Like that face he made.
Yeah,
right
so did I, dude. I
yo, because he was like, I'd eat a crap burger, and I thought he was like,
bitch, you eat crap burgers?
Yeah.
What the fuck?
You eat pieces of shit. What's the basis? Yo, like,
yeah. Not the Kanye reference.
I thought he was about to laugh in their face, and it's like, oh man, is this gonna be like a funny like we laugh together moment, or like she gets pissed because he's like laughing at her? Like I was like, oh man, but then the Snow Devil came out. I was like, oh, this is I forgot what the Snow Devil looked like. I think we saw him when it was eaten, but I was just like, what the fuck is this little fur ball?
I don't even. I'm not gonna hold you. I do not even remember when he ate the Snow Devil.
It was when he ate the ear devil and
there
what was the other devil? Oh, the octopus devil. Or
Yeah, he
squid
like 3 or
Bitterness.
4. Yeah, bitterness. Yeah, octopus, snow, and I think there was
Ear.
another one. Yeah, ear. And then they got some of them out of there. So I'm
Speaking
guessing we're
of
gonna
that,
see what's up.
speaking of the bitterness devil, that could reflect on a few different things in part one. Like bitterness he feels towards Reese or Raise, however you say her name, or it could be the bitterness of tasting barf in his mouth. So if that gets puked out, we might see a flashback of Himeno or even Reese herself.
Yeah, I think this has potential to be very what is it? What was the shit with the spirit of Christmas past type shit where he sees a lot of like things from his past and like gets to reflect on them or whatever. Because he was just talking about how he never has time to like reflect on things and his mistakes. And now, I mean, throwing up the snow devil, it gives him, he's thinking about this flashback with power and Aki, and throwing up the bitterness devil will probably give him another moment like this. He's probably about to go through some major shit right here real quick in these woods that he's gonna be living in for the next 1,000 years.
So
Mhm.
what happens when Dingy goes through character growth? Does he get like a buff as Chainsaw Man?
No clue.
Maybe because like his mind
Uh,
isn't clouded. Because normally, I mean, he probably just fights better, like with a clearer mind instead. But I mean, how much better is that? Because Chainsaw Man's whole thing was being chaotic and just attacking everything. It's
We
like
see
Yeah.
him achieve like perfect synchronization with Pochita, and then he's able to control the Black Chainsaw Man form.
that'd be lit if he's
Ooh.
like in that armored form and still talking. Like, man, I can't wait to get a cheeseburger after this.
Yeah.
But I
That'd be
saw
cool.
I saw a lot of people see this like final page and go like, "What power and Aki are coming back?" And I'm just like, "How do you guys consume stories where you think they're coming back? This is clearly a
Like,
flashback."
yeah,
I
in
saw a
every
drawing of
manga,
them.
Yeah.
That means they're back.
in every manga,
Yeah.
you get the black borders when it's a flashback. Now, to be fair, the top of the second to last panel where it's in the present is still black, but then it goes into the flashback. So I think it's just kind of a
Yeah.
mixture.
Yeah,
And it's
yeah,
funny because like I don't think like Ranger Reject uses black gutters to imply flashbacks.
I'd have to double check. I
Yeah,
can't
I
remember.
don't.
I
I don't
feel
think
like
they
we've
do
talked
either.
about that before. Yeah.
I think
some
I
of them use them differently. Some series use it differently.
I mean, 95% of the time, a
Yeah.
black gutter
Yeah,
implies
for
like the past. Yeah.
Yeah.
But
yeah.
Or recap.
Majority of the time, yeah. I mean, that's
Yeah.
basically a flashback. But yeah, in
we
this
can
case,
come to rely on that. Yeah.
yeah, in this case, it was very interesting to see Power and Aki, and I'm ready to see where this goes, because I mean, I had to go and look it up. Somebody posted it and said where this was from. It was chapter. This was a flashback. This actually happened in chapter 72, where they are like on a boat and they're on the way, I think, to see Aki's like family and some other stuff. They're going like, I forget where they're going.
Family grave.
Yeah, Aki went to his family grave and stuff. So this all really happened. It's not like an illusion or anything. So he's remembering something from that trip, and
Y-
that chapter only, on the boat we only saw like 2 panels. So like we'll probably get that situation expanded on. I'm here for it.
The important part
Yeah.
about that was the fact that he put off Makima to go on that trip with his actual friends, and so that was
Yeah,
another
Yeah.
moment of significant growth for his character.
yeah,
That was great.
good point. We
Hmm.
I mean, this is a powerful moment, man, and I mean, I've been saying I want power, the Blood Devil to come back, but in a different form. But I mean, this kind
Now I
of
just
Close.
want power.
Yeah,
I still
power.
don't think we're ever going to see power back, but like the Blood
Yeah.
Don't say
Devil
that.
in some way. Something one last thing that I specifically wanted to say is just, it's a silly thing. I just can't believe, I don't think any of us have ever mentioned Denji just like chopping down all these fucking trees. He's in a forest and he's a chainsaw. So,
Oh,
my
but he can't
God.
use his powers.
yeah,
yeah.
I guess not. But like,
The irony.
is this
Yeah,
like,
the irony though.
yeah, imagine being a chainsaw with no gas in a fucking forest.
Yeah.
It's funny as hell.
That's actually a fair point, because what happens if he does start cutting down the trees? Those are basically like souls that belong to the
People.
aging devil.
Yeah.
And
that-
so, maybe the aging devil's like, hey, yo, stop doing that. You're killing all my people, and then pulls them out.
Well, and we were talking about like, how it kind of works considering like, yeah, Yoru can't fire off bullets from her you know, hands, because this like space that they're in kind of like negates your powers. But like Denji is like a transformation type that also has like mechanics dedicated to what his body can do after transformation. So if he can just transform, but maybe not like, you know, actually power the chainsaws, you know, as we normally see him do, then like he would still have chainsaw blades available, and he could just manually start sawing through trees without like the revving aspect of it, potentially, you know what I mean? And that could be his like final, you know, idea of like, all right, so I can't like actually like rev anything, I can't, but like maybe he can transform and just start manually cutting down the trees. I don't know. That's like not
Yeah.
as likely as anything else that we've said, but I just want to like throw the possibility out there because you never know with Chainsaw Man, I guess.
Yeah, I mean,
makes
Yeah.
with Dingy, we know he's got crazy wild ideas, like when he was fighting Santa
Eternity?
Claus powered by the darkness devil, and he lit himself on fire so he had light to fight
Oh,
her.
that was perfect.
Exactly.
That was
He's
beautiful.
creative.
I
Yeah,
can't wait for
yeah.
that to be adapted.
That's gonna be
If it gets adapted.
glorious. It's gonna be adapted. It's gonna be glorious. But yeah, that makes me think like Denji is someone who like by being an idiot, just he thinks outside the box. So it's like I just went and reread flipped through last chapter. So the guy says, you know, when you turn into a tree or whatever, the tree rots after 1,000 years, and your mind and body have fully become one with nature. You can return to your body in the real world. So their bodies are still in the real world. So what would
Right.
happen if someone pulled the ripcord on Denji's chest? Or what if he somehow willed himself? Like if he's like, I can't, you know, like in some movies where it's like your body, your mind is like in the matrix, but you still somehow figure out a way to move your hands and something. So it's like,
Yeah,
what
Wait.
if
yeah.
If
he
anything, this chapter I think might contradict that, because how does Denji throw up snow if it's just his soul and not his actual physical body?
Oh, that's a pretty good point
Yeah,
too.
that
Yeah.
is.
Yeah, that's what that's the thing. Unless it's just like, unless it's like doing the same thing, like mentally and physically. Like
I mean,
Or
that
maybe
could
their
give
bodies.
credence to what Yato was just talking about, how like maybe like his body in the real world threw up that snow too.
wait,
Yeah,
yeah.
that could be
hold
the
on.
Or
thing.
Missing
or
piece there. You know, we've seen Asa, Yoru, and Dingy in this world, but we haven't seen Pochita. What if Pochita's still Black Chainsaw Man fighting in the real world, and
I think
something
I
happened to him, and that's what caused Dingy to puke out snow?
oh yeah, like what
oh
if
yeah.
somebody punched a hole in his
What if they're
chest?
just stomping him in the stomach in the real world?
Yo, that'd be crazy. Something I was gonna say. That that'd be hilarious if we cut back and it's just 18 people just elbow dropping Pachita
It's
while
like
they're killing.
it's a line of people like walking up the stairs to like a diving board, just
Yo,
cannonballing like onto his stomach
they got
back
they
to
got
back.
they're selling tickets to do this shit. Come drop kick a devil, fucking $30, yo. Like,
Yeah.
I was gonna say, oh shit, man. Here we go. I got it back. So what if it's just Asa who doesn't have her powers? Like, because the aging devil wants Denji to like cooperate with him in some way. So what if they left Denji like able to use his powers, but Asa is like fucking pain in the ass? So they like disabled the war devil's abilities in here. But like if Denji chose to like rev his chainsaws up, it would work because like technically they do want him to do something. Maybe they would want him to do something in here, but like throwing her in here was just a way of like shutting her up and getting her out of the way so she didn't interfere with like Denji's growth or whatever.
Ooh.
Yeah.
So like Denji might, you know, maybe it was just Yoru who got like neutered in this space, and Denji still has his abilities. He just doesn't know because he hasn't tried, because he like, you know, watched Yoru like not blow his brains out. He's just like, yeah, my powers don't work either, but like he's like running or something, trips, you know, gets his chainsaw ripcord snagged on a tree branch or something, and this shit comes out. He's like, oh shit, I actually got powers. Whoops.
Yeah. Yeah, I guess there is a possibility that the aging devil can like decide who gets powers and who doesn't in this space.
Yeah, just because I think it was Weeb that just mentioned it, like how how he was able to puke. It's like maybe he's normal and she's not, or something. Like
Yeah.
maybe, yeah,
The possibilities out there.
yeah. But I mean, we're gonna find out in 2 days, right? This week, I think. Yeah, we don't have
Oh
a
yeah.
break. No break. No
Yeah,
break.
I don't think it's a break.
Yeah, but this was a good chapter. You know, it was cool. It was chill, nice and chilly. We got snow back, ugly
Wait,
ass
we get a
devil.
new chapter in wait, like
2 days.
So,
Tuesday.
so wait, isn't this on like a bi-weekly schedule when it's not on break?
No,
It
it's
depends.
Oh, it's supposed
got
to
a
be
weird
weekly,
schedule.
but sometimes it's bi-weekly because he can just not come out with a chapter, and it's kind of
Yeah.
like up to him, and they're letting him cook in that way.
Yeah, they
Yeah.
let Fujimoto do
Oh,
what he wants.
so we get a new chapter in a couple of days. That's
Yep.
butterscotch.
November 12th. I just pulled it up. Yep. So we got a chapter. So we finna find out, man. I hope that we get, several pages, like at least 8 pages dedicated to whatever power Anaki had going on, and it's not just like a 1-2 page thing.
Yeah, I'm trying to stay in this little black gutter space.
Yeah, it'd be nice.
See my
Because
people again.
that's something that I don't think we've ever gotten. We never got like Dingy fucking retrospective or whatever. Like we never get Dingy thinking about like shit that happened in the past, other than when he killed Aki. He was like, oh man, my life is shit. But we've never seen Dingy have like a flashback. Not while he was awake. It happened like in his dream or something. And it's like, you wake up from a dream and you just keep going. You forget about it after 30 minutes or whatever. But like,
Yeah, now that you mention it, I feel like that is like pretty rare, pretty few and far
Yeah.
between. Like maybe we got one when he was I don't know if it was learning or remembering that he murdered his dad when he was like talking to like
Yeah.
Makima.
Yeah, I think that was the closest one that I
Yeah.
actually got to like a flashback.
Yeah, it's like how Luffy never like has an inside voice, like he
Has
says
inner
everything out
monologue.
loud. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like similar thing. Like Denji doesn't like reflect on shit, and he said he just is not able to. So now he's kind of being forced to. It's pretty cool. Cool development. But for me, I think that's all squeezy. What you how you feeling, Knox? You got anything else?
Yeah, I think I'm good. It was a real squeezer.
Okay. Traffy,
I'm tapped out.
Weeb, you got anything else for this?
Not skeeted?
Not
Uh-oh.
I think
skeeted.
I'm good.
Are you out of skeet?
There's still room to build up for later.
Sack on raisin?
That's crazy. Anyway, that's gonna do it for Chainsaw Man chapter 182. And now next we are going to get into Centuria chapter 30, Departure. And this is a good chapter, a little bit in between arcs. I like these kind of chapters. We didn't jump straight into the action and the bloodbath or the next assassin, but we got to see a little bit of what everybody's got going on. We see Diana and not Diana. Well, we see Diana, but we see Julian and
E.T..
TT, yeah, talking about what they're gonna do next. And I like that she mentions kind of what me or
What
we
you were talking
yeah.
about.
Yeah, she's like, I can't keep being a bum, bro. I gotta do some training. I gotta learn some shit. So I'm here for it. I really
She wants to be strong.
yeah. I wonder, is she gonna be an archer or is she gonna do something else? Yeah, I feel like archer.
We
is
were
I'm feeling
talking
archer.
about, like, I think it was me who brought up, like, the idea just to say something different than what you had said, because, like, there was, like, a pretty big conversation about, like, the future of TT's character and, like, how she will acquire strength. Will it be her own idea? Will she kind of be, like, down in the dumps for a while until, like, some random mercenary that they meet up with later in another village walks up on her, like, yo, you can't be, like, on some sad boy shit right now. Like, you have to get tight. You know what I mean? We were talking about, like, what kind of form this development of her character would eventually take, and I'm happy that it seems to have come directly from TT and that she wasn't just going to be emo for a while until someone else suggested it to her. She's like, no, I need to lock in and get tight. So I like this angle a lot more than whatever other one that I had suggested last week.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I mean it fits well because I think if she would have just went down this sad route, I don't think Julian would have taken her with him. I
Yeah,
think he would have just
though.
left her.
Yeah.
But either way, it'll be interesting to see how this all takes place, how the cards fall in, to each spot or whatever.
How
Julian
the
is
cookie
definitely
crumbles.
yeah, Julian's gonna be able to handle himself. He's got 97, 98 lives, but it'll be interesting to see like what TT does to get herself strong. And I'm looking forward to seeing her become a stronger character. Not saying she's weak now, physically or mentally or whatever. It takes a lot to just jump right into this and be like, nah, bro, we're gonna make them regret this shit. So
Yeah, I think it would be tight. Like, I know that like Archer is kind of like where I think it was your idea that she would become like an archer or something like that. I think it would be tighter though if she became like some kind of rogue type with like 2 knives, because like I feel like it's like so often that like female characters take like long range combat like positions because they like don't want to be like in the mix of action and like want, you know, they're weaker so they have to be far away and like shoot you or something like that. But like if she really locks in and really wants to stick it to people, I think that it would be so fucking cool if she was like a close quarters combat kind of fighter after a while, because like that's growth that you can like really feel from a character like TT, going from who we've known her to be this whole story so far to like an in your face stabbity stab kind of character would be like very noticeable, tangible growth, you know what I mean? Because anybody can like fucking pick up a gun and shoot you from around a corner, you know what I'm saying? But like to have the fucking wherewithal and the balls to like get up in there and stab you in the neck is just like huge.
So this will lead into another point, but I think Knox mentioned it the last chapter review, the fact that, you know, she could become a magic user. We don't know how the sorcerers or sorceresses function. We don't know how magic in this world really functions.
Yeah,
so
can
that is a
anyone learn
possibility.
it? Do you just need to be taught? Is it like a bloodline thing? Is it like a baptism kind of situation where you have to go through a ritual to acquire that? Like there's still a lot of questions around that, but I think I like the sorcerer angle too though.
Yeah, and so that does lead into another thing in regards to our last chapter discussion. Uh, in regards to Centuria, I know Yato brought up the flashback that they had, and we were questioning why the sorcerers were in that flashback. And this chapter kind of alludes to something going on there, because they're mentioning how the sorcerers are not trustworthy. Like, they're very skeptical of them, and that might lead into them siding with Diane in the future, explaining the flashback or the future vision.
Oh sure.
Yeah, because these two characters, they were in the flashback. You know, Elstree wasn't there, but like we definitely see, or you know, at least Elstree wasn't like visibly, like you couldn't really make her out from any of those characters, but you could at least tell that the nun and the little short sorcerer girl were there. So it's like they probably at some point meet up and like change sides, since she's talking about how she doesn't trust them, but you know, they can be put to use. So something later along the lines is probably going to happen where these guys flip sides, or you know, there's some confusing things that have to be explained.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
and I think that we're seeing like what's really interesting on like page 11 is that the nun with the scars on her mouth seems to have like some kind of electricity based abilities. I
Yeah.
think is what's kind of being implied by this crackle and this lightning electricity looking art surrounding her, which I'm like very excited about if that's the case, because I just love lightning users in stories.
that's cool, because that was hinted at. Like, the scars around her mouth are like lightning or like
You know
electricity
what?
burns.
You right, nigga. Hold on. What we could have really wait. We could have put that under a microscope last chapter and probably guessed that already.
That kind of makes me want to go back and see if we can guess the rest of their powers.
Oh shit.
I mean, we can guess little Miss Tuesday here is knifey McStabby pants. 'Cause
Little
she's
Miss
carrying a
Summons
knife.
Tuesday?
knives.
You mean Wednesday?
Yeah, whatever. Whatever.
Oh hell
But,
no.
yeah, she's got the knife, so she's probably got some kind of knife juggling magic or something. But I wonder if did we get Arcos' sister's name? I can't remember if we got her name, but I wonder if she like
Forgot.
just doesn't like the nun because like she's got water power and the nun's got like electricity, and it's like they don't mix.
Maybe.
I mean, she's referring to both of them, so I don't think it's specifically that.
Yeah. Other one could just be a little bitch.
Yeah, it could be.
But yeah, it's a lot of stuff we gotta see, man. The characters, they are here. It's funny that they kind of like immediately go and like, you know, last chapter it ends with Elstree saying like, you know, us four, we are the elite super secret squad, and we're gonna go and find more people. And then they open up this chapter with immediately two more people joining or whatever. It's like, yeah, you guys kind of need us. It's like I felt like this happened kind of quick. What you think?
I No, because I think this is just like a way to push the plot forward, because they're like, as soon as we find the people, you know, we'll cut them off. We don't need their help anymore. So I think this was just a way of, unless they get further involved, I think this was a way of kind of announcing their distrust in the sorcerers. And that is an interesting way to do that.
Okay. Yeah, I'm ready to see what they're gonna do, man. What how they plan to go about finding these people and who's gonna get involved. Maybe with them coming, like we talked about like Arcos' sister possibly falling in love with Julian. Maybe the nun and the knife juggler like go and they meet Julian. They're like, yo, you're actually kind of tight, bro. We actually gonna fuck with your side instead.
Yeah. It'd be kind of they'd have to build it up properly, but it'd be interesting. It looks like they might already be building it up.
Yeah, I can see it being a case where like the nun is kind of like what was the name of the character from Eden Zero Weeb, the one that was like a nun or something, but she was like torturing people to
Mr.
hurt.
Ivory.
Yeah, her like what was her like her like name among the four shining stars or
Uh,
whatever though? It was like
darn,
witch?
what
Was
was
it
it? I
witch?
think it. No, she was sister. Oh,
Okay. Yeah, I think
Sister Ivory.
just sister, yeah.
Her
Okay, so
I
yeah.
forgot her epithet.
She was bad.
She was she was
Yep.
fine. But what if I could
Sadist.
see I could see her being a similar thing where she like tortures Juliet, it kills like 20 of his lives. It's like, you're kind of tight, bro. Like I kind of fuck with that.
Do that to me.
Shock him a couple times. Yeah, I'm trying to see some more from her, man. She got that nun fit on. I'm still trying to see the twerks.
On the handstand on the wall.
Oh
Yeah,
my
man.
god.
Flip that thing, yo.
Throw that ass in a circle.
Hell yeah. But no complaints this week from me for
Anatomy.
Yeah. I feel like the hands and stuff were good. Like normally the hands are big, like uncharacteristically big, kind of like this is just like his thing. Like my signature
weird
is
eyes.
big. Yeah, no weird
Yeah.
eyes. The hands look normal, man. I actually like what I see.
Jarbo's consistent.
Yeah, it's all good money. I'm just I
Bro
hope,
is really good with fingers.
Yeah,
Because like on this, what's this one? What's the page where I was like, damn, bro, the fingers are so on point in this page. Hold
two?
on. No, it's when they're all like waving goodbye to each other or something. Why is my shit not loading? Okay, page 17.
Okay, yeah, that
Top
does look
panel and even like the middle panel.
Yeah.
But yeah, the fingers are fingering.
good. Yeah,
Pause.
you can tell that like some fingers are bent and stuff like that. It's nice. It's getting better. One thing I do wish that we got a little bit of is a couple of gagas, a little bit of goose. Diana's a baby and she ain't. People are talking around her and there ain't been a single yeah on the page at all. Yeah,
Battle needs more baby speech.
Yeah, we need more fucking goo-goos. Yeah,
Yeah, we need more Diana dialogue.
Yeah, it's like not right now, Diana. But she's like
Not even like a burp or a fart. Like this, whole baby. Like what is this thing?
Yeah,
that baby ain't pooping.
This baby ain't babying. G.
Yeah, like she ain't even reaching for like Julian's hair or nothing. Like babies be fucking with shit, pulling on your shirt, throwing up on your jacket. Like she ain't doing nothing.
And their nails be like extra long because you're like scared to like trim them when they're that young. So they just grab a bunch of face and just squeeze with their sharp ass nails.
Yeah, I hope we get some of that soon. Like while they're on the road again, I got to get on the road. We need some of that, man. We need like they stop to change Diana's diaper and she like fucking flings poop at like TT's hair or something.
Or just like projectile vomits milk straight into Julian's eye or some shit. Like do some baby shit.
Yeah, and he's just like he thinks like I wonder if that took a life or some shit.
You see like some random slave like, well, that's my time.
Yeah, he's just like a ghost floats over his head like -1 or some shit. We need a little bit of that comedy in here, yo. But they're fleeing to enemy country, so
let's see how that goes.
Yeah, we'll see.
I don't think they'll make it.
You think they'll run into an assassin like in transit? I think obviously there's going to be conflict when they're trying to cross this border, because otherwise why would there be dialogue like dedicated to like, oh, we want to go that way? That place is fucked. And it's like, yeah, but what if, when we get past it though, it could be cool. So like obviously there has to be hardship like in that transition. But I wonder if we'll just like see like a random enemy because that place is like known to be dangerous, or if it will actually be someone sent by the villain force or whatever.
I'm hoping they kind of like encounter like somebody who's going through some shit and then just kind of meets a new person for the team. Kind of like just like I don't know. I know it doesn't happen like this, but I'm just like in my head I just made up a Freerin scenario where like Freerin's just traveling and then she just stumbles upon Stark and he's got like this issues his mental stuff preventing him from doing whatever he needs to do, and it's like they help him out and he gets over and then he joins the crew. I'm hoping that they find somebody. Maybe they come across a village where a guy has like a sick mom or something. He's like, I can't leave because my mom's sick, and they're like, bad guys come and kill his mom or some shit. He's like, well, I can go with you guys now.
Or
'cause I
she
gotta get
just
revenge.
succumbs to the illness. Oh yeah, no. Got to give him motivations. Got to give him motivations.
Yeah, I
So
mean, if
the-
the illness was given to him by the bad guys, then
Oh, there we go. There we go.
the
Like,
scenario
yeah, we're
that
going from town to town giving niggas cancer.
what? The scenario that popped up first in my head is they're going to come along with someone who's going to help them in a fight, and then that person's going to join them, and it's going to be one of the assassins that's just waiting till they're sleeping or some shit.
Oh,
I don't know,
like
that
that.
this just feels like that type of journey to me.
I can see that. Somebody who's pretending to be like somebody with a bum leg, and it's like, can I please, fucking, or not a bum leg, because how to help it? How would they help them? But something like that, some situation where it's like, I need you guys' help, but they're actually the assassin or something.
God, trying to
Yeah.
like run up on him in their sleep. I feel like we always get that scene where it's like a bunch of like cloaked like niggas like coming into the tavern, and like the last time you see the protagonist, they're like snoring in the bed. Then you see like the niggas in cloaks like sneak up to the fucking hotel or whatever with knives in hand, and they pull the blankets off and start stabbing, and they find out it's just like a bunch of pillows or something.
Yeah.
And then, like the protagonists are like outside waiting to ambush them. Like I feel like we've seen that so many times in so many things.
Yeah,
It's a classic.
It
You
works.
gotta do it.
Yeah,
It works. Tropes exist for a reason. Cliches
True.
exist for a reason.
true.
dead
Uh-oh.
ass.
Yeah,
As long as you use them right.
Yeah.
Type shit,
Exactly.
type shit.
What if TT does she's like a trapper or something, like she booby traps wherever they stay. Somebody like tries to break into the house and she's got like a fucking flaming pot of fucking oil ready to swing over them or some shit.
What is this,
It's been a
TT the
while
Witch?
since it's been,
I just-
it's
I
been a
want-
while since I've seen somebody get a fucking pot of grease to the face.
Yeah. I want to see TT just do lit shit, man. Like
Yeah.
she's got a cool design, and like I can see her just using her size to an advantage, and also just she was raised by Angval, the fucking
Right.
the warrior, like Angval
Yeah.
was no bitch. So yeah, I can
Plus,
see
like
her.
women regularly get underestimated in like stories, like in general. I want to say, especially in these like back in the day type like period piece stories where it's like before like industrial revolution, and like women had like very like shitty roles in society where they're like constantly like manipulated and taken advantage of like societally, and it's like baked into like laws and shit. It's like it's so easy for you to just go, oh, it's just a wench.
Yeah.
And like then they can take advantage of that and surprise you in really cool ways.
Yeah,
You know, TT's design reminds me of one of the chicks from Fire Emblem 3 Houses. It
Nobody
starts
played
with
that.
a P.
somebody.
No, there's
None of
probably
them.
someone in the comments who knows who I'm talking about.
Well, that's for the fan to decide.
Yeah.
Just
But-
keep
Family
cooking.
Guy. Yeah, no, I'm sorry. Keep cooking. Yeah.
Anyways, I'm pretty sure that chick is an archer, which is why the archer theory sticks with me. But
Oh,
I could be
sure.
wrong.
Okay.
You
Yeah,
probably
I
are,
mean-
but yeah.
I mean, now that we've talked about it a little more, I do think I prefer her to be a rogue or something. I mean, she could be, daggers and bow. So I mean,
Yeah, she could just be like a weapon master by after a while, where she
Yeah.
just like has all ranges covered.
I feel like she had like a very powerful role model in Angval. So it's like I can see her wanting to do everything, and this she get into a situation where she feels like she isn't strong enough. It's like, nah, don't ever think that way, because Angval was a fucking bust, like Angval. Fucking, she put on for the city, bro. She was huge. She was a major, motivator, and now, shaped the way, TT lives her life and shit.
Petra McNeary. If anyone wants to look up why I see the relation between the two characters.
Here's a moment for you guys in the comments to say that you don't for Traffy. There you
Why do I keep catching strays?
go.
Because you're such a big
Easy.
target.
Dang. Dang.
That and I don't do enough for people to shit on me.
Oh, just you wait, buddy. Your time is coming.
Yeah, your time's coming, buddy.
Actually,
I've been loading up these chambers. No, I'm kidding.
Sleeper
We're flinging
weeb.
them. Sleep. Oh, yeah. So
The sleep weeb.
yeah, but
I gotta divert attention somehow.
Oh God.
misdirection. Yeah. So once we've gathered enough gifted ones, we'll have no need for them. We can kill off. We can have whoever we find kill them off later. So yeah, Elstrie's planning on even eliminating these two witches or whatever.
Dude, I love
But
when there's like infighting inside of like specific organizations on like protagonist and antagonist sides. That just like makes it so much more. I just feel like it gives the conflict so much more depth because it's like it's so easy for like villain organizations to like all be on the same page because they're either like zealots for like the leader and like they're all like you know willing to die for them and all think the same and would do anything for them. But like the ones where like there's clear disputes in motivations inside the ranks is always like a lot more interesting for me.
yeah,
So I could be wrong about this, but on page 11, the nun, it could be that her hips are really high, but it kind of looks like she's prego.
I thought that too.
Page
I was
9.
yeah,
Page 11
11. Yeah,
Page
at
11. The
the
one with the
bottom.
crackles.
Oh
I was thinking it
shit.
might just be either she's like standing, with one of her legs bent, or like it was. I was thinking it might be an art inconsistency, but also, yeah, she might be pregnant.
It,
She just
it
leaning a little bit. She just stanced like that.
Yeah, that's the
yeah, it
booty
Ain't no
like
just
that.
baby in
I
there.
think her hip is just a little too high in that picture.
Yeah,
Yeah,
plus she's saving herself for me, so they
yeah,
can't,
yeah.
can't
You
be
can see it
bad.
from the.
We'll
She,
back off.
she got the kind you see from the front, yeah.
Yeah, baby.
But now that I think about it, though, like you with the whole infighting thing, with the idea and the future that we saw with the nun and the knife chucker being with Diana, I just thought about it. I could see, later down the line, something happens where like Elstree makes it clear that like she's on some fuck shit, but like a different level, and I can see the nun coming to Julian, with her head as a bargaining chip, like, yo, this bitch was she was trying to gather like 1,000,000 people to come and kill y'all. But like we were part of that, but we kind of also don't like the way she does shit. So we go ride with you until like, you suck or whatever. So here's that Elstree chick. We killed her for you, so you don't have to worry about her anymore. Like I can see them killing her because she wasn't in the prophecy. Elstree wasn't, present.
Yeah.
That's a good
They
point.
they don't like each other or seem to really get along. They're just kind of here and working together because of whatever circumstances. But Elstree's talking about getting rid of them. I can see them getting rid of Elstree's ass.
Yeah,
Yeah.
let's get her out of here because she fucking sucks anyway. So
Yeah,
She can't
she's a
fight.
real.
She can't do shit. She just reads fortunes. Woo, big
and
deal.
talk shit. Yeah, fuck
Yeah.
you.
Yeah.
Yeah, makes fake promises. Like you promise that the people will be safe and you'll leave shit alone. And then the king gives you an order, bro. Maybe the king sent them. Maybe the king sent the nun and the sorceress to like keep an eye on them because like he secretly like he knew Elstree was gonna be on some fuck shit, even though he told her, we gonna let the shit play out and see how Julian and Diana, live their life. And if they come for me, they come for me. But he was like, yo, I know she gonna be on some fuck shit, so go keep an eye on her and take her out if need be.
Yeah, that could
Yeah.
work
I see
actually.
that happening.
Yeah,
Scotch.
we got theories. But yeah, it was straightforward chapter, start to finish. We got some dinner table stuff. We got more arms and better better art, stuff like that. I'm all squeezed out for Centuria. What about you, we
I think I'm good.
Traffy
I'm tapped out.
and Knox?
I'm Gucci.
All right, that is going to do it for Centuria chapter 30. And now we jump into Dandadan, chapter 173, Corner the Criminal. And we continue where last chapter left off with them throwing the desk at Koki behind the invisibility cloak. It's funny that they say corner the criminal because she hasn't like committed a crime. I mean, well, she lit up.
Technically.
I mean, criminal is funny, but like I guess, yeah, stabbing, having these little gnome
Murder.
dudes stab and trying to stab Momo and setting Iris hair is probably, close to
A
crime.
felony.
Yeah. So not something you should be doing, but just corner the criminal is a funny title. But yeah, what you guys thinking?
I like the fact
Hot
that it's
nurse.
not an invisible cloak. It is a curtain stitched together by the pygmies, which just it's such a simple but good explanation for it. Because obviously they'd be able to do that like really fast.
Wait, but why is it like camouflagey then and like see-through?
because they basically knitted it like what was behind it. Yeah.
Yeah, I like
Oh.
that. Yeah, so it's like Momo probably could see it, but didn't like recognize it, and they couldn't see it. So it's just like it was invisible. So it's like you put an invisible like thing, like an invisible square over like your face, and like suddenly like a square of your face is covered and no one can see it. It's just like that piece is missing or something type shit,
Yeah.
maybe.
Yeah.
But yeah,
One thing I do want to say is last chapter, I think me specifically, but all of us were talking about how Gigi was all muscles, but and no, he showed us this chapter he is smart. And I think someone mentioned it in the comments after our last video. They're like, "Oh, wait till you read the next chapter." And I see what they mean because Gigi came up with the idea that if what's her face Godzilla chick went into her
The
spacesuit,
mola.
yeah,
yeah.
Mola, it would create empty space. And so because of Gigi's suggestion, they were able to find them and then help out.
I wanna add to that
Okay.
part of that was also Kenta, who said they are likely trapped in an empty space. So Gigi didn't get that all on his own.
Well,
We
I
got
He
to
mean,
we got to
needed
give
help.
we
They're
got to give
sharing
Kenta.
brain
Yeah.
cells.
look, Kenta's smart too, and he was like this chapter was all about Kenta and Gigi just being goats to
Yeah.
chase down and figure out everything that's going on. I do want to point out something. It looks like Tatsu has like a tickle fetish
I
Oh,
Yeah,
guess.
we
maybe.
because the
got a lot
scene
of
where they go out into the hallway and she
Ira.
Ira,
Ira.
yeah. Hey, Ira's getting tickled, and Gigi looks over and he's like, sexy. Like,
Oh,
I
yeah.
see you. I know what you are, Tatsu.
Yeah, was that like a self like insert moment? Because I
It,
was like,
I
I saw
guess.
that and I was like, is that something Gigi would even say
I,
in this
He,
situation?
yeah, I
that
think he'd
kind of
say
guy.
that.
Yeah,
Does
he
does
does
he be commenting on that kind of shit? Like usually?
kinda.
Yeah.
Kinda.
He just kind of like randomly says stuff and it's just like silly. He has like his random goofy moments where like people will be talking about something and he'll just be in the back like making squid faces and stuff. So he just
Yeah.
does
Yeah.
stuff sometimes. But this sexy page specifically was interesting because like in the Dandadan like fandom or whatever, like the fan base, there's kind of like an ongoing war, I want to say, between like people who like Kenta and people who like Gigi. Not that they're like at odds, but like I keep seeing a lot of people like dissing Kenta for his initial his initial introduction with the 10-gallon wiener stuff, but also just a lot of the things he says. He's still kind of
He's the
loser.
cool guy.
Yeah, but like I think he's just misunderstood, and I think he
Yeah.
misunderstood the situation. So, like, in that when he was introduced, I think he heard them talking about like Okarun's
Okarun's
nuts, and he was like,
balls,
"Oh wow,
yeah.
it's cool to talk about fucking dirty things, so let me say a dirty joke, and nobody fucked with it or whatever." But
Yeah.
Yeah, I think
so
Kenta is just like missing the pathos really in his
yeah,
character for us to like really like latch onto him in a way that because I remember like Gigi's character being introduced and motherfuckers did not like him like
yeah,
either, you know what I mean?
Mhm.
But like I think it was a combination of like him being hot that like allowed like people to just be like, oh, it's whatever, it's not that bad. I'm sure
yeah,
he'll grow on us. But like with Kenta, it's just like, dude, fuck this kid. He's just a horny weirdo. But like
yeah.
once we get his like backstory and get like some real writing for him or whatever, I'm sure that
He
will
also
kind of
comes
like
in
bridge
clutch.
that gap. Yeah, he's super clutch. Yeah. But I'm just
Yeah,
talking about like on like a fandom level
Oh yeah.
for yeah, because when Gigi was first introduced, we were like, "Oh God, love triangle garbage. This dude's a douchebag jock who's trying to
home
like
wrecker. Yeah,
step on Okarun's toes and shit." And then we got his like writing, and like I feel like a lot of those complaints kind of like stopped after that. Whereas Kenta is literally still like he's got some new shit to him since he's been introduced, but like personality wise, he's like still the same kid as he
yeah.
Yeah.
was like
I figure
introduced, and we didn't really get that writing for him like we got for Gigi in the Suicide Worm arc.
true.
I
Though
feel like
I would have thought people would have gotten a bit easier on him after the literal kaiju fight he initiated.
I mean,
Yeah,
but
that
that was
was
just a
Like
tight.
battle.
let's
That's the meatheads being like, okay, this dude's kind of cool, and then they just share
Yeah.
that double page
I am
spread
one
and
of them.
then stop talking about him.
Yeah,
So
but that doesn't
yeah,
give him any actual like character development. That
depth.
just had
Yeah,
him like doing a thing. He still hasn't had anything to make people like him as a person besides fighting in a mech or
Yeah,
whatever.
true.
I feel
Yeah.
like he's a weird a weird attempt at a comedic relief character for like an outdated joke, whereas
Especially considering the whole
Gigi
cast has
fills a
comedic
much
relief.
better comedic relief role.
Yeah, I don't feel like he's like a Mineta though. I really feel like he's just misunderstood and he just like heard he thought that like they were just into like dirty jokes and he just kind of like he keeps trying to like find you know that one guy who just keeps trying to like get a joke in and it's just like it never lands. He's like, what's
Yeah.
going on? You
Well,
know, everyone likes this thing, but when I say it, it's not funny.
well,
Yeah.
more than that, because
Story of my
like
life.
towards the end of this chapter, well,
Are
uh,
you Kinta? No.
towards the end of this chapter, he's like, "Tell me how fine I look. Tell me truly that you adore me. Tell me that you love me." Say it. Like he's a horn dog.
Yeah, we're gonna find out his parents like beat the shit out of him because they're like, I don't know why this headcanon just like popped into my mind, but I can see
Oh
his
my
like
God.
his parents being like supermodels who were like super into like aesthetics and like looks and like social status, and then they had this like awkward looking like kid who just like didn't fit the mold and like took a bunch of shit out on him for just like being ugly and overweight and nerdy. And we're gonna find out he like never got the love that he was supposed to have growing up, so he looks for it like elsewhere, and it like manifests in these really cringy, like outdated joke kind of ways. And
Yeah.
that's like the missing pathos for his character or some shit.
I hope we get something for him because I mean I don't hate the guy. I like him.
Yeah.
I thought he was fun.
He's
You know,
fun.
ever since he was
He's fun.
introduced. He hasn't reached like Mineta levels of like cringe to me. Like some of the stuff he says isn't like the greatest, but I think he's just a kid. You know, he's just a fucking goober, and he just
So
the
my bad. The difference between him and like Mineta is Mineta will like physically assault someone,
Mm.
whereas he will just say weird stuff.
Yeah,
Which
like Mineta's
isn't
Was
great.
Mineta
but-
was Mineta out here groping people? Like
Yes.
was he
yeah.
grabbing on you?
Yeah.
I think he would
Oh.
try, and he would
Attempting.
do. You would see him doing stuff like looking up someone's skirt or something.
then
But I
he'd
don't feel
get
like Kenzie's
Oh
doing that.
no! I don't even remember that. I only
That was
remember
like
like
the main
cringe
thing people
dialogue
remember
from
about
him. Wow.
Yeah, I don't think Kenta would do any of that. He's just like wants he wants he wants people to fuck with him.
Yeah.
I think Mina was Silence of the Lambing Mineta for a good chunk of like the later seasons.
Please don't make that
Jeez.
reference. That just sounds wrong. All I
Silence of
remember
the
from Silence of the
Lambing.
Lambs is that one scene where
Lambing.
she's walking through the prison and the dude throws his stuff at her. No.
Yeah, Silence of the Lamb as a verb is fucking crazy.
Insane. The insane
I-
weeb.
I don't know. That just seemed like the right thing to describe her, like
I mean,
putting the guy in a straight jacket, making his
yeah.
eyes taped open to watch something on a TV that nobody knows what's going on while everyone else is having a party.
That's more like Clockwork Orange.
That's fun. I've never watched that.
Oh, you gotta watch that. Anyway.
I hear it's fucked
Yeah.
up.
But
let's jump back.
yeah,
Yeah,
the nurse though, I feel like we don't know anything about this nurse, but at the same time, I think she fits the role that one of y'all, maybe a few of y'all, assumed Saint Germain was playing. I think she's the one that's been behind everything. Not
Man,
Saint Germain.
I got a roll for
be
her. Let me
surprised.
tell you
Yeah.
something.
Right?
So she did show up about 40 or 50 chapters ago. She was introduced. They went to the nurse's office and she was there. She had like one page or whatever.
Oh,
and then,
It was like the
shit.
Serpo arc.
yeah, I can't fully remember, but like she showed up and then I was just like, oh, I wonder if they'll ever see the sexy nurse again. And here she is. I think remember last week I think I was saying like what if Kuki had like some kind of like big lawn gnome, some kind of idol or icon or item of worship for these little gnomey dudes or whatever. Maybe it's her who has the thing that's commanding them or whatever. And
Yeah.
she used them like, okay, they beat Koki or whatever, bring her here or whatever. And because she was like knocked out, they're transporting her. She looks like she's asleep while they're carrying her. Like she's unconscious, but then on the last page she's standing up. So maybe the nurse like immediately healed her. Like
Maybe how we were talking about the pygmies being aliens. Maybe the pygmies are alien tech, like the Godzilla suit, which is why they create the empty space.
oh.
But they seem to have like a certain like personality to them. Like when they surrender and they wave the white flags, and they like, clearly seem to be like trying to communicate in their weird little pygmy gnome language.
They're like the little green aliens from Toy Story. Those dudes,
Oh,
yeah.
the claw.
They're those guys, yeah.
Yo.
I love those guys, and these dudes are funny. The white flag shit is hilarious, and then they're
Yeah.
just they're
Momo's
like
like,
staying.
they're not a threat.
Yeah, but this one page it made me laugh. Like when she's like, "Hey, wait, they're trying to get away," and they're like standing there, like she can't see. You can't look past us because we're like taller and blocking.
Oh,
But Koki is like huge, so it's like you can't miss her. But they
yeah.
don't. You shouldn't be able to see this. Don't pay attention to this while we sneak her away. It's a funny page.
Yeah, just like see
Yeah.
them like running towards the collection to like help carry.
Yeah, it's just chaos. A bunch of ants. Like
Yeah.
yeah,
Oh, I do kind of like how we just had like an instant roster swap the second the rest of the cast got there.
Hold on, did these niggas always have mustaches like this?
No, I think you just put them on.
They had did they? They had masks on, and yeah, they had masks on.
And then
They
they
had
took
the
them
like,
off.
yeah, they had like the fucking blow dart masks, like the
Oh
fucking
yeah.
like
Oh, you can see them taking them off on page like what is this page?
like page 3.
Yeah.
They're taking
I'm
them
on
off.
Manga Plus now. Yeah, page 3.
We got a
Yeah.
bunch of little Marios running around.
It's
Yeah, these niggas look like fucking like the
So it's like-
Monopoly guy suddenly.
Pringles band, yeah.
Do not
They
pass
had,
go.
Yeah, they had so they had like war paint. They brought like their battle mask.
Their
and this is-
tribal masks. So those
Yeah.
weren't actually their sink disposal mouths.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's okay. Okay.
And
They're less scary now. God damn it.
Yeah,
Yukinobu. I almost called him Fujimoto again.
they're funnier now because they're like sweating and stuff. They're like running
Yeah.
for their lives and shit. This is good comedy. Good
Sharingan eyes.
And I just love how Kenta just used the memory the memory tech thing to make a glider, follow them, and then get hit in the face by the sexy nurse with a baseball bat.
Surfboard.
So that's another thing, man. Like Kenta shows. I feel like Kenta shows out, man. Like he comes through clutch, and like another thing I was gonna say earlier. Yeah, another thing I was gonna say earlier was like with the sexy thing. Like the people in the fandom was like, this y'all boy, yo. Like Gigi's like he sees Ira and he looks at her as like sexy. It's like this y'all king. This your
When
nigga
that
right here.
writing comes in and recontextualizes all of this fucking horny dialogue, you niggas better stay on that side, bro.
Yeah,
I'm telling you, like.
Need Kenta to get his moment. They fucking he's still like in that page, the page where Gigi goes sexy. The one right above that when Okaru and Ira are flying out, you see that like they push Gigi into Kenta. Kenta's like he's still standing, but he's pushed against the wall.
With an
like,
elbow in his face, and his arms are like crossed, like
yeah, that's insane. His arms were not crossed to a page above that.
Yeah,
so
he just
like,
always has to look cool, even when he's taking an L. That's just like a part of
bro.
his like character to like
That's me.
always make sure that he tries to look as raw as possible, even though he's the least cool dude on the team.
Yeah, this it's funny. Another thing that just go ahead.
I was just gonna say, like, imagine if the nurse is actually like an enemy of Jermaine, and is actually just misunderstanding everything that's going on, and then ends up teaming up with them. Like what if Jermaine, basically, since he's being built up to be potentially the final villain, what if she's kind of like Saint Germain, but is just trying to find her own group to like help take him down, and based off of him being the
Have we talked about
Germain?
Have we talked about Jermaine final villain? Like,
Yeah.
I feel like I do not see that.
Slightly, yeah.
Yeah, because he's collecting all the things, and he's like a researcher or whatever. But he was also with the fucking conquest, fucking aliens who were conquering all the worlds and shit. And
okay. So maybe
maybe
that does make sense then.
So my guess, maybe the nurse like ended up like believing now that Jermaine's at the school that Momo and Okarun's group is like with him, and so that's why she's got the girl to try and take Momo's powers and all that. Maybe to try and like.
Based off of what Yato says, it looks like the nurse was at the school first because Jermaine just recently showed up.
Yes, no. What I'm saying is she's making her move now because Jermaine's there. Maybe she just wasn't doing anything because Jermaine wasn't around.
Yeah,
biding her time, or just assumed he was gone, and so she's just like enjoying her life. Then Jermaine shows up. She's like, "Fuck it, I gotta I gotta lock in. I gotta take him down.
Well, then why not go after Jermaine instead of the kids?
He's
Yeah, what are
probably
they?
Maybe
he's probably hard to get
yeah,
to.
you never know. Maybe she believes he's too powerful, and so she can't take him on herself,
Yeah.
and she thinks the kids are like part of his group, and so he wants to weaken his allies
Oh, sure.
and get her own allies. So
Well,
Yeah.
that's a possibility too, because she can't take him on himself, and so if she gets an ally that can not only like weaken his, but then build up her own, then she might stand a chance.
well, it
And this is all
seems
just one big misunderstanding.
it seems that she's more interested in stealing their powers than recruiting them.
My whole
No,
thing
no, no.
is
That's
Oh,
what I'm
you think
saying.
you think she's on that kind of shit too, or she's trying to do
Yeah.
the same thing that
No, I'm
Koki and
saying like
Jermaine were
with
trying to do?
no, I'm saying with the girl that was trying to like make Mo submit. What if she's the one that taught her how to steal powers? That way, they could weaken his forces by taking their powers, building up her forces to finally take out Jermaine.
No, I thought you were saying that they were trying to recruit them.
So
Oh,
you
no,
think
no, no, no.
that? So you're saying that you think the nurse was that shadowy figure from a couple chapters ago in Koki's
Yes.
flashback that was
Yeah.
like, "Yo, I got this fucking revenge porn chilling if you don't do what I say or whatever."
Yeah, I see
It
that.
certainly seems that way to lead up for a misdirect. That it was her the whole time and not Saint
So-
Germain.
Okay.
So the way I was thinking was just like she's just on Jermaine's team. But I mean, I could see it sounds like what you're saying is you think she is against Jermaine, but thought that they were with Jermaine.
Yeah, since he's like their
And
faculty advisor now, and he's seen with them a lot.
yeah, and so like she fucks with them thinking that it's a blow against Jermaine, but she's gonna realize that they are also against Jermaine, and maybe she'll become like an ally with him. I could see it, but like the issue that I take with that is I don't think we need another ally for the main crew right now. The
They
the
just
occult,
got the pop idol singer chick too.
yeah, the occult club kids, and they got the delinquent dude, Azula
Oh
or
yeah,
whatever.
Zuma.
So like they have a lot of allies, man. Like I could see it, or I could see her being a third party. But just my first thought was just like Nurse is with Jermaine, like on Jermaine's team, because other than him rocking with aliens or whatever, we don't know how close he is with the supernatural. But maybe he just has some human allies too. I
And I
don't know.
remember some writing dedicated to like I think it was like Turbo Granny like earlier in the series talking about how like I don't know, we got that like kind of bomb drop information that like the spirits and the yokai and the supernatural element on Earth is like defending from like extraterrestrial like intergalactic like federations that like eventually want to invade, and it felt like they were setting
Yeah.
up some like final arc war between like the supernatural aspects of the story and the extraterrestrial like alien aspects of the story. And if that's like the case where we're all going to this like we're going into this huge, you know, war of like spirits versus aliens, then like I feel like we can't have too many allies in that regard then.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and like
I'm
what they're
thinking.
like
Go ahead.
what they're doing is they're like building up characters, but they're not putting them on the main roster, so they're not one of the main people we follow. So I can
Yeah.
still see that happening here where they get like another ally. It's just not going to be a main character.
They'll leave the story for a while and then come back like
Yeah.
when the
Like
narrative
Peeny
like
Weeny.
kind of needs them to. Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, something I just thought of. I think it was Knox that said something when he was talking about the forces and how they fight or whatever. Maybe the reason Turbo Granny was pissed about him was because like Saint Germain is like a spirit, but he allied with the aliens, and she doesn't fuck with that because like
Yeah.
the spirits and the aliens have beef. So it's like she was pissed. She even called him Turbo Geezer or something like that. I'm pretty sure. So she was like pissed when she saw him. Like I forget how she saw him. It was like a crystal ball or something. But she
Yeah.
was not happy, and I feel like maybe they have history. Maybe he's some sort of, old ass folklore spiritual character, and it's like the
Her
spirits they
husband.
keep the balance. Yeah, her husband. They protect the world from the aliens or whatever. But like, how dare you go fuck with the aliens, and she don't fuck with that.
Damn, I'm just now realizing this nigga Gigi got a Uzumaki shirt on. Have you
Yeah, I
been
was about
rocking
to-
this?
Yeah.
I was about to say
Ugh.
that
Uh-huh.
Speaking
Tatsu's
of-
a fan of Junji Ito.
He's
Who
had a
isn't?
couple of he's had a couple of I haven't read any of Junji Ito stuff. Don't we're not gonna talk about it, but one
Don't stop me. I had something to. No, I'm kidding.
One day. But yeah, there's been a couple of Uzumaki references in this series. It's not the first time somebody's worn a shirt or whatever with Uzumaki on it, but something that I found kind of weird was on this page where Gigi's like, come to think of it, Van Vam, when you transform into kaiju, whatever, blah 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 blah. Vamola is talking very clearly. She's like, yeah,
Yeah,
even
her
if I don't.
English is fire.
Yeah, where the fuck did that come from? Like, I feel like last time she spoke, it was fucking
Very
Gaga
broken
speech.
English, very broken English. No, I feel like she's been. I think Tatsuki or Yukinobu Tatsu
Yeah,
has been like slowly improving her speech, like pretty much every time we see her since we got her, or since we finished that like what the fuck, Sumerian arc or whatever.
this just feels like a lot though. Like I feel like last time we saw her, she was just like mimicking what Gigi was saying. Like Gigi would say, sunshine, and she would say sunshine. But now she's
Yeah,
even I don't know all its functions, but if I remember to, I said it's a heart pounding hidden mode. It's like this feels like too much for her to
too
be
good, too
saying.
clear.
Yeah.
I
We'd
think
have to
they
go
fixed
back
the
and
translator.
Well,
huh?
I mean,
Oh
no.
yeah.
they have like a translator.
Oh wait, is that
The
it?
translator
Oh
that
yeah,
that
okay.
shrimp guy, that boxing shrimp guy was,
Teeny
was trying
weeny.
to fix.
Okay, maybe you're cooking
I
there.
think that's it.
I'll take
Oh,
That
that. I'll
makes
take
sense
that.
for.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
that makes sense
That
actually.
makes a lot of sense. If you're watching this and you confirm, please confirm I want that to be true because I don't want it to be like she's just fucking out of nowhere. It's just like
Perfect
fucking
English suddenly.
yeah, perfect
Yeah,
English.
I mean, I think it makes sense because beginning of the previous arc, they established there was a translator that couldn't really translate our language, and so they had to keep tinkering with it off screen so they could communicate with her.
Yeah, I like that. No,
But I just assumed that I just assumed that they fixed it now.
yeah, they definitely said that her translator was broken or whatever. So like if I just don't remember there ever being like dialogue set to say we fixed the translator.
Yeah, but it
So
also felt like they were like trying to help her like learn like Earth
yeah,
language too.
Yeah.
So it's like, are we just abandoning that because we have the translator now? That feels kind of wonky.
yeah.
I mean, it'd be easier to actually get the character to speak.
Yeah, for sure. But it's like,
Yeah.
why introduce the idea that they're trying to help her like learn English and speak properly like a
Shenanigans.
human? I guess.
I guess, yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. It felt weird, and I mean, if the translator thing is a thing, then yeah, I'd like that, but it still just feels weird here because I'm pretty sure the last time we saw her, she was just mimicking Gigi and saying whatever he said. She hadn't formed. I don't think she's ever said a full complete sentence until right now. This is the first
Yeah.
time she's ever had a complete sentence.
Yeah, and like, are we just like missing the like moment where Peony Weenie pulls up and was like, "Yo, I fixed the translator. Good shit. Like,
Maybe.
you can speak normally now." Like, do we just not remember that, or did it actually not happen? And it happened off screen, and now she's just suddenly speaking perfectly because the translator is fixed without like any time in the manga dedicated to like connecting that dot.
I'm gonna try and remember, and I'm gonna flip through. But somebody's watching the video. Please comment. This is when I
Yeah.
need you.
Yeah, chat,
Yeah.
fix it.
Yeah, fix it, Jesus. But
Yeah,
yeah,
gotcha.
Kenta's cool to me, man. Like, bro comes through. He pulled out the motherfucking hoverboard and is fucking surfing down the hallway. And
Yeah.
this dude's cool
Like
to
a
me, bro.
boss.
Bro, be on
this
timing for real.
he be on timing, man. And I mean that confirms like he do keep that thing on him, bro. He got
Yeah.
the fragments of the fucking the skin on him, bro. He not just
Yeah,
out
I
here
mean
lacking.
that's how he's got to keep up with all of these supernatural possessed teenagers that he kicks it with.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
now
Oh, yeah,
Okarun's
he's-
just fit.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's
physically
another
fit. Yeah.
that's another thing though, because like Kenta, for his size, I mean he does run. Like he's running in the hallway before he
Yeah.
whips out the skin. And then he was like, planning on running in gym class with Okarun. And I'm pretty sure we saw him run another time. Like, dude's fat, but I feel like he'd be moving.
He want to be on the team for real.
Yeah, for real. He really trying out, bro. He not
Yeah.
he not bumming it. Yeah, I
Yeah.
fuck with him, bro. He's showing that he want to be here and shit. He want to be included. He really want to be on the team.
Yeah.
You got heart, kid.
Yeah,
He's
I
got
fuck with him.
heart, if nothing else.
Yeah, let's get him. Let's slim him down and
Let's get him a jersey.
Get him a jersey. Get him some contacts. Get him a new haircut. He gonna be knocking him down soon, bro.
He hits his
Yeah.
Choji arc.
Yeah. If he loses some weight and gets some J's, like Gigi might have to.
Yeah,
He might have to take a back seat to Ken.
yeah. Gigi gonna be like, damn, who this dude is, man?
He just keeps the same face, but just like has GG body.
Bruh. He got to lose some
Dandadan.
weight in his face.
Dandadan time skip.
Yo.
Yeah, I wonder if we're gonna get a time skip like that. That'd be dope. But yeah, this chapter was fun, man. Another great one. Little pygmy dudes, they were fun, and fucking naked bodies getting tickled and stuff. That's a choice, but it's down to
What
done.
is this weapon that the nurse has? Like some kind of like baton? Is that like a specific? It's just
Looks
like a
like a
metal
baseball
pipe.
bat.
It's a billy
Yeah,
club.
but it's not actually a baseball bat, is it? Because you can see the end of like the thing that she's holding, and it's not like shaped like a. You know what I'm saying? It doesn't have like the knob at the end like a baseball bat. I feel like it's just like a lead pipe.
It's a billy club.
Oh, it's a billy club?
I don't know. That's what it looks like to me.
Man, hold on. Let me
Maybe.
Google search billy club on your goof ass real quick. Because I don't even remember billy club.
It's funny that she calls them baldies. Like, is this a
Yeah,
thing? You
who's
baldies,
bald?
you baldies being bullies. I feel like this dialogue might have been said before. Like maybe she,
Maybe it's slang.
or like I don't know. I kind of feel like somebody's. I feel like this has been said before at some point. Maybe she. Now that I see this, maybe she was like present in another arc or something, and some other character like called people baldies or something, and it was like we didn't realize, but it was her, and she's like a shapeshifter or something. I don't
Yeah,
know.
and this ain't no fucking
clue.
billy club. It doesn't have
Yeah,
the
it is.
perpendicular dick sticking out of it. Where's
Huh?
the fucking
What?
angular?
Huh?
Yeah,
What
like doesn't
billy
a billy
club are
club
you
have to
looking
have
at?
like? Look, Google
I'm
search billy club
casually
real
exiting the
quick.
chat.
I
It's like a
did.
tonfa.
Billy
No,
Club.
no. This is a billy club.
Police billy club.
Look.
Oh yeah.
Oh, that still don't look like that shit.
Yeah, it does. That one
Yeah.
just has like a handle to it.
No.
So like,
Oh no.
look, hold on. I got another one for you that's more accurate to what we're looking at.
I hope the
do
audience
you
is
have these
also
ready?
Googling these.
Yeah, Google Billy Club. Yeah, that should look like a musical instrument. Yeah, like you fucking
Yeah.
slide
See?
your
It
fingernail in
don't.
the
Hey,
grooves.
it don't got the ribs. It don't got the dong
Are you?
attachment. It
You're
don't
being
got
pedantic.
It's real for her pleasure. Yeah.
nothing. All right, let me
Okay,
chill.
get
Let me
mad,
chill.
I'm
It's a
done.
billy club for now. But if your team lead pipe, drop a 1 in the comments, and if your team billy club, drop a poop emoji. Okay, and
Really?
we're moving on.
Poop.
Mm.
Yeah. Moving on. Yeah, I can't wait to see. A few more hours, and we'll see if Kinz's
We were
fucking
right.
nose is broken, and if she's team Don, a cultic team club, or if she's team Jermaine. So we finna find out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm all squeezed out for Dandadan. What about you, Traffy?
All ski to do.
And
Oh
Knox?
no, Skeeted is back.
Skeet's back. What about you, Knox?
He refilled the
Chaos.
skeet. I'm good. I'm good.
And Weeb, how about you?
I'm all set.
That's gonna do it for Dandadan 173, Corner of the Criminal. And now we jump into Gachiakuta or Gachiakuta, chapter 116, Rudo Shurabrek the Cleaner. And this was another major chapter. I gotta say, man, the content of this chapter aside, Gachi is a series that I feel like is now it's just moving itself further and further up on my priority reread list because it's got so much to it. There's so many things that
Yeah, for real though.
it's just
Yeah, 100%.
I feel like it's one of the better, better to best stories that's ongoing right now. And it's like a year ago, I was saying like it's great, but it still hasn't had the hook. It hasn't put its hook in me yet. But I feel like the hook is there now. Like these last, 30 or so chapters have really been fucking
Phenomenal.
yeah,
Yeah.
Rana has been putting her fucking foot in this shit and spinning it around like tap dancing in this meal. And I'm fucking with it, bro. Like these last chapters have been incredible.
And I just
I'm
want to
Good
thank
communication.
Gachiakuta for being the only new gen who can dedicate multiple chapters to just two guys having a conversation with each other because no other new gen is doing that and has ever done that. All right, anyway.
Oh man, it's crazy because that guy
I
might
think
actually
Undead
watch
Luck has
this.
done it.
No,
And
it's
Yosakura.
Nah,
a tweet.
yeah, it's a
So-
tweet that someone made about
somebody-
Gachiakuta earlier
Yeah.
in the week.
Somebody said that this was the only series that has only new gen manga that has dedicated 2 chapters to characters talking to each other. It's like, okay, you
Ah.
not reading other stuff, huh? That guy might. I feel like that guy might see this video and I'll laugh. But anyway, yeah, you were wrong. Other stories do it.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, back to 116. This is another banger, bro. We got more convo with Corvus, the boss man, and he's just
Goat.
Yeah, he's just whipping out more fucking knowledge bombs, yo, like whipping out these books, and he's like, the fucking information is whited out, bro. You think they like wrote these pages like this? Like,
No,
nah, this.
the cool thing about that is it kind of implies that there's a power that affects history,
Yeah.
because like
Yeah,
no one just took a whiteout to all these books. It's something magical erased it. And
yeah.
Yeah.
I just took it as the book's print being faded over centuries of time.
yeah, but it's not
No.
gonna fade
Nah,
certain parts.
Why would
nah.
there be dialogue dedicated to Corvus being like, bro, you think that all of these authors did this on purpose?
Yeah, he even says faded. It's in
True.
like it's in fucking quotes. It's for some reason seemed to have faded in unnatural places. Like it's only the important information that he's looking for
Oh yeah,
is
you're right.
faded. Yeah, nah, this is definitely some sort of fucking divine instrument at play. Somebody is doing this on purpose. They're fucking erasing history, preventing this type of information from being like found
Common
out or whatever.
knowledge. Yeah.
Yeah.
But another thing that I do want to point out, let me 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10,
Names in my
10,
bank account.
10. Page 10. I love how page 10 is a direct reflection of the conversation with Zodal in chapter 48.
Yeah. Because he also like tried to like get him to his side. Didn't he like put his hand out too, or no? I can't
Yeah,
remember. I didn't
no,
look at that
well,
chapter.
it's almost like the exact same panel. Let me bring it up real quick if it will load, because Kubari's
I'm a
being dumb right now.
Oh man, yeah, this shit's acting stupid.
Hold on, it is loading, so we might be good. We might be good. So he goes, "My name is Zodal Typhon." It shows the like emblem, and then it shows his face up close, and then it shows the two of them, and it's like, "How would you like to take down the sphere with me?" But it's like a downward shot looking up. So
What
Yeah.
it's
chapter?
48.
Oh.
Yeah, it is a direct reflection of that conversation.
Yeah, I went and
Because
reread some of those chapters too.
yeah, because this one shows Corvus's logo and then his face up close, and then a downward looking up shot to finish it off.
Yeah, the reread is gonna hit so hard on
It
this
is.
series.
Oh
There's
my
like
god.
so much
That'd
shit
be
that we're
great.
like just now realizing had like subtle foreshadowing and like mirrors and parallels like set up like earlier in the narrative that is just gonna be so satisfying to go back through and notice.
Yeah, and like this
Yeah.
this chapter specifically, this is the first time I've actually gone back and reread several chapters like that. From page 48, I actually read that, and I was reading chapters today from that arc, and I flipped through a lot of them, but I was mostly looking for moments for Zoto and Bondus. Because I mean, obviously, I think it's obvious, but the end of this chapter kind of tells us that Corvus and Zoto were friends at some point. Is that y'all agree? Think
Yeah, I
that's
could
what
see
Maybe.
they
that.
said.
I could see
So
that, yeah.
because he says he's trying to save his friend, and both of
Oh,
them
true.
kind of have this like similar outlook. Like Zoto, when they were talking, when Rudo and him were talking, he was kind of on some like the cleaners ain't doing shit right, like they can't get shit done, they're playing around, and all this shit. But Bondus, the old guy who he was in the trash beast, and he was talking to Deer, the little kid, and he was talking to Bro, the dude with the bandana, and he wasn't like fighting them. He was like, I just want to get some information from you guys, but I'm not gonna let y'all go. And he was asking, he was like, I want to ask y'all some questions about your boss. And bro was like, you know what, I'm not gonna like reveal anything, but he was like, if you don't tell me, you'll never get out of here, you'll just die or whatever. And he asked him, he was like, what's your boss like? He was like, Corvus, tell me what's he like, what kind of guy is he? And then he was kind of like putting his defense up. He was like, I'm not gonna like answer questions. He's like, okay, well, what kind of food does he like? Is he a nice guy? Does he smell nice? Shit like that. He was trying to pull information about Corvus, because I think he knows, like, maybe Zoto like mentioned Corvus as somebody he either looked up to at one point or respected or something. And Bondus is like, the boss is like, Bondus is looking at Zoto like, who could Zoto have possibly like had these type of like relationships with? Like, what could
To
this guy be?
to the degree that he would ask questions like this about him.
Yeah, he's like trying to like get into, like, by finding out more about Corvus, he gets into Zoto's mind a little bit more and understands his new boss or whatever. And So he was asking these questions about Corvus, and it's questions that we also don't know because we don't know shit about Corvus either. It's just interesting to see that like he was trying to find information that Zodo probably wouldn't have given him about Corvus either.
Yeah.
Yeah. Uh, One thing I want to point out, this could be a big fat nothing burger. In that case, you can call me Laffy all you want.
Uh-oh.
But in the last page, the right panel at the top of the young Zodal, he looks really close to Rudo.
Yeah, like how Rudo looks.
Yeah. And so
Yeah,
I wonder if
What
there's some
page?
relation
final
there.
one.
The last one.
Oh, you mean like maybe he's actually related to him?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a
Mm,
nothing burger with fries,
All
G.
right. All
That's
right.
a number 6. No, I'm kidding.
I'll-
You
But
know what's
so
funny? Young Zodal kind of reminds me of Benny Maru from Fire Force in that
that's
instance.
what I saw too for
Really?
a second. Yeah, I definitely got Fire
Interesting.
A nice
Force,
nod
Benny Maru
toward
vibes from
Senpai.
that panel on like 17 or whatever when he's standing
Interesting.
there with like the cloth in his mouth and shit.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So I mean,
So wait, so is that Rudo on page 18 or is that young Zodal
That's
juxtaposed
Zodal.
young
with
Zodal.
old
Zodal.
yeah, that's
Okay,
Zodal.
okay.
And it's showing how he was back when he was
Oh,
young and
right.
the rage was fresh. Because another thing that Zodo said, he said it to Rudo, was that he was like, Jabber told me that like me and you had the same eyes, and he said Jabber told him that Rudo and him had a lot of like similarities, so he kind of wanted to like meet Rudo face to face, and he gave him the like I'm you speech. He's like, we're the same kind of guy. We both
We're
want
not so
to.
different, you and I.
Yeah, he's like,
I
I
love
want
that
to.
trope.
I
When
want
done
to
right.
break I want to break down the sphere. You're from the sphere. I want to know more. You should join us because the cleaners aren't doing shit. They're just wasting your time. And it's just he knows that like he can see it. They got the same eyes. They've been, he's been where Rudo is or where Rudo's been. And so yeah, they got the
That
same kind of
that made my brain start connecting a little bit there.
uh
Um, because of the earlier connection between those two panels, the one with Rudo and Corvus and the one with Rudo and Zordal.
yeah.
This could be like Rudo is Zodal. Not
Yeah.
is, but he is a reflection of him. And he currently has a choice that goes down two paths. One where he ends up like Zodal, which is the one that the route that Tamsi wants him to go on, where he gives into that anger. And
Yeah.
then the other route, which is him with Corvus. And that's a pretty cool dynamic, actually.
Yeah.
That especially when you like throw in the fact that like Rudo specifically last chapter like said that he respected Zodo in a way for like how he was able to like cool-headedly go about his mission and what he wanted to do and stuff. He respects the enemy, but he also is just like the dude. Like Rudo's a fucking canvas waiting to be painted, but like he can easily go down either of these routes, and he's choosing to keep his faith and follow the guy who's clearly telling him straight up, like, I'm using you for my goal, but like I will help you achieve what you want to achieve.
Yeah, and connecting Zodal to Corvus in this way just does like so much for Zodal as like a big time villain in the series because for the longest time, like after Zodal was introduced, I was like, holy shit, this dude's got such a crazy presence in this story. I wonder just how significant of an antagonist or a villain he'll end up being, you know what I mean? And to tie him to Corvus in this way sets him up, I think, a lot more as like a final antagonist for the series, which is cool because we have a very personal, like main character centric villain inside of Tamsi, and you never know how like all of these fucking paths are going to intersect and cross like eventually down the road anyway. But if we have like this Tamsi, being a Rudo centric villain to be taken down eventually, and then you have this Zodal as like a leader of the cleaners, rival friend
Mhm.
dynamic, like big time final boss type situation set up, then I feel like it does a lot for our perception of the future of the series and gives us a lot to be excited about as far as the future, on top of all of this lore we're getting and the world opening up a lot more, and like everything just seems to be like firing on all cylinders as far as like concepts and aspects of this story to be excited about. And like this chapter is huge for all of those reasons that I just stated.
I hadn't even thought about like the thought of Zodal and Corvus fighting, and that just gave me big like fucking Kakashi versus Obito vibes. And it's
Yes,
like
dude.
the difference in this is like as we grew up reading Naruto, we lived with Kakashi, like we knew Kakashi, but we barely got to know Obito. But in this case, the we barely know Corvus,
And
but
we've gotten a
we're
lot more time spent with Zodal
we got a lot of
comparatively.
time with Zoto, and then it's like
Yeah.
we're probably gonna see Corvus win in the end, or maybe not. Maybe Corvus won't win, and it's just like it's gonna be a crazy battle
Yeah.
if Corvus loses.
The thought of Corvus dying to Zodal in a fight with Zodal,
Yeah, it makes a
I
lot
can
of
see it
sense
now.
too.
It
But
makes
I
a lot
think
of sense.
that
It'll crush everybody. It's gonna be an emotional moment, especially if it is revealed that the two of them used to be like best friends.
we're gonna have to get like
Imagine
a lot
that.
more. We're gonna have to get like a lot more writing. I feel like
Oh yeah.
dedicated to Corvus's relationship with everyone else in the cast,
Yeah.
whether that's
Which
in like present time or in flashback form. You never know like exactly when Kagurabachi is going to decide that Corvus is going to be like a central figure like in the narrative, and it can take form in both of the ways that I just said. It definitely doesn't have to be like, all right, we're hanging out with Corvus all the time now. He's a part of the main cast, and like we're developing relationships and getting writing for Corvus and Rio, or Corvus and Engine. I feel like it could either be that, or it could just be like, oh yeah, so when I joined the cleaners, Corvus was there for me in this way. On the Rio side of things, he was there for me in this way on the Engine side of things. But either way, we're going to have to get a lot more writing dedicated to this leader's relationship with the rest of our protagonist team before this inevitable clash. And I'm actually really excited thinking about that possibility or inevitability,
like
really. Yeah.
like
Yeah.
that like literally when he was like when we had those panels as he was just like talking about like everybody in the cleaners, I
Mhm.
felt that he knows all of them to such a deep degree,
Yeah.
and like you said, we're gonna get set up to see like his connection to everybody. Which, but I also want to say, want to ask you guys a question. Who do you think would take Corvus's place if he was killed off?
Engine.
Semi you.
My money's Engine,
Yeah,
maybe if you
either
want
of the
if you want a fighter.
I just want more of my
But
wife in the story.
I think she as a leader type, she would definitely fit. She can make sound decisions.
I was gonna say, watch
every
your mouth
single-
now. If you was about to say you can't see it, we was gonna have to box real
Uh-oh.
quick on the show.
Uh-oh.
Hey, look! Before we saw Corvus, she was basically handling everything by herself.
And I
for
mean,
the
she
most
got
part.
the hands. Yeah.
Yeah, and
So
she's nice combat wise too. So
Yeah.
don't
Yeah.
sleep on Shorty.
So
at least hand to hand combat.
Yeah.
one
bare
one
minimum.
thing that I do want to point out for this chapter is the interesting tidbit about how the eye on the back of Corvus's head sheds the tears. It's showing emotions that he himself isn't, and it's looking more to be, and it fits within what we can assume of his powers. This, I think, is the third eye. Now, usually you see that on someone's forehead, but the fact that it symbolizes basically a state of enlightenment, and it refers to um, like being able to see things, insight and intuition, and he locks himself away. We can kind of assume that like he's using like meditation in order to view the world as a whole. And we've talked about what we assumed his powers were before, but I think the like third eye theory for his powers, I feel like that holds ground here, especially since the eye itself is functioning as like a part of his body.
Yeah, and we've seen like in the arc where they were inside the trash beast, like when Semiyu came to like holler at him, the eye like it was rolling around, like he was like spun around in a chair. I think he even had his eyes closed, and like the eye they showed like two pages, one where the like pupil of this like eye on the back of his neck was like at the top, kind of like it was rolling down, and then it was like in the middle or whatever. So it definitely functions, more than this isn't the first time we've seen it have some sort of functionality. So it's really cool that, especially like you said, he doesn't show that emotion on his face. Like he looks at Rudo, he's happy, he lets Rudo, know that he appreciates it by grabbing his hand with both hands and thanks him. But you couldn't possibly know, man. And then he's the tears on the back of his head, but he can't show him, because he the boss. He gotta, I guess it's like a thing where it's like I can't like show my subordinates my tears or whatever, but like I'm really crying on the inside.
There's so much character writing expressed through body language in this series. I feel like we've talked about it a lot on the
It's
show now,
really
even
damn
like
good.
seven episodes in or whatever. It's come up like multiple times. Like Kei Arana is really good with the art in this series.
I do.
It
Knows
does
how to make her
so much
characters
for
express themselves.
it just does so much for the story, yeah. And I feel like you see it in other stories too, but it really stands out in Gachiakuta. Like,
Yeah, I really
Yeah,
appreciate that we took this time to do this instead of jumping straight into the Doll Festival arc and on Halloween or whatever.
yeah,
yeah.
Yeah.
And like there's another example of the body language earlier in this chapter when Rudo grabs Corvus's hand without even seeing his face. You can tell he's surprised because he doesn't clasp his hand, and then it
Yeah,
moves to the next page, and you can see the visible like surprise in Rudo's reaction. And yeah, the body language is just on point every chapter.
yeah, he was not prepared for Rudo to fucking take his hand. So fucking so like in this way, like it looked like Rudo grabbed his hand like to the point where he can't even clasp his hand back if he wanted to. He's just got his fingers
yeah,
just
like
like
scrunched.
yeah, it's like he can't dap him up the right way. It's like Rudo really went for it here, and this is a really strong moment for Rudo. I'm done being the Spherite. I'm the fucking cleaner now, bro. He's pledging his
I
allegiance for
now
real.
understand my role type beat.
Yeah, he gets it.
I found my place.
Yeah, another thing I noticed when I was doing my little reread is Zodal also has these little earring tops that Corvus has. Zodo
Oh,
has the top of the ear like jewelry. And
oh,
yeah,
Oh,
they both wear like some jewelry at the top of their ears.
bro, these niggas were best friends, and we're gonna find out that that was like their gang, like jewelry, like from when
Yeah.
they was like
yeah.
coming up together. It's like
We're
their
gonna
like
find.
their team bandana or like their team ring or like some kind of accessory
Yeah.
that shows that like we were in a group together type shit.
So like my theory is that like as I was rereading some of the previous arc or whatever, Zodo was telling Rudo about like how the people on the ground like worship the sky, and they worship the trash that's thrown down, and even when getting crushed by fucking wood and stuff, like even if their bones are broken and things like that, they look at it and they thank the sky, and they still praise it and they respect it and all this stuff. But like in one of the scenes you can see that there's like 4 or 5 of those people like on their knees praying, and there's one guy with like a fucking he's flat laid out with like a fucking 2x4 sticking out his back, and then you can see young Zodo like trying to run, like he's like trying to run, but similar to this last second to last page here, a person is like holding him back. They're not like letting him run while he tries to run, like they're keeping him. Oh, it's actually this exact page. So yeah, it's this exact page, but from another point of view. So like in this one, I thought that I think it's the exact one, but in this page here, right before he says, if this is a world where things are taken from you, I thought that they were taking Zodo here, but if this is the same page, these guys are praying or whatever. They're on the ground praying, worshiping the sky, and Zodal is trying to go somewhere, but this guy is just holding him back. They're not like walking.
What
They're just
chapter?
so this is the current chapter, and while I talk, I'll flip and try to find it. Um, but well, while one of y'all are talking, I'll flip through. But
Yeah.
I think that like these guys were like a crew or whatever, and like he just got tired of the way shit was going, and he kind of split, especially after like losing everything, and like he lost his mom or whatever. He wanted to see his sister, and Corvus was probably friends with him throughout their whole like life on the ground or whatever, and then he realized he couldn't keep going the same way Corvus wanted to do things or whatever, so he split, and he built his little squad. Somebody want to just
Yeah. um, I mean, ultimately, I think I don't have too much more to say on this chapter. So if someone else has anything, you can go ahead and bring that up while he's looking.
What you got, weed?
hmm. Uh, I'm. I think we might get like the end of the chapter might indicate some sort of like quick time jump because he's Zoto standing over Momoma at the end of the chapter, so we'll probably get something with her regaining consciousness with the whatever information she got from Kuro.
yeah. Didn't Kuro say she was going to be out for like a month?
Yeah, a
Yeah.
month.
Yeah, and
Granted, we still have that Halloween costume puppeteer bash thing
Yeah, but
going on. I
that's a
don't.
day.
Yeah, no, but like, did they say how long until that would happen? Was that going to happen that week? Was it happening in a few days?
yeah, we don't know
I
like
forgot.
what day it was in universe or whatever.
Yeah, because like
That's-
because we don't know, I wouldn't be surprised if it was just real that it's gonna be in a month. Then Moma will wake up with the information. Maybe they'll crash the party. There's information where they'd have to go there, interrupt it, do what they gotta do for their clash or something.
yeah.
It's possible.
I'm all here for it. Okay, I found it. It's chapter 54. Sorry it took so long.
No worries.
He's like, what is normal anyway? Among the groundlings, there are those who worship the trash that falls from the sphere, believing it to be a blessing from the heavens. And you see people praying as shit is falling on them. Be it food waste that is rotted all the way through, be it discarded lumber that pierces their bones and crushes their flesh. They accept it as a blessing and pay it I can't remember how to say it. Obeisance and force others to do the same. And you can see like a kid trying to run away, and like somebody is holding him while they're still on their knees.
Oh
It's like
shit.
page 9 or whatever. Even if something seems bizarre to anyone looking on, once you've been desynthesized, it becomes daily life, then common sense. And if you fight it, you become a heretic. So he was somebody that fought against this shit. He could see
Bro,
like everyone.
Kairana was
Yeah.
writing her ass off for this nigga's dialogue in this chapter, bro. That's how you do this shit. Yuki Tabata, read Gachiakuta.
Yeah, for real. Like you can see that like his
I know you're
character.
saying this. I know you're saying it to get a rise out of the only Black Clover fan here.
No, I'm saying it to all the Black Clover fans listening to this
Oh,
shit too.
buddy.
Like, this is how you do antagonists.
And it's like I didn't think anything about this stuff like back then when I was reading it. I was just like, oh, okay, blah blah blah, funny, cool backstory for bad character, or just I just didn't. I don't think I pieced it together that was him at the time, but just seeing that he fought back, and he's like probably looking at his parents and shit. Like everybody's probably on this crazy shit, kind of like Sakurama's mom, where it was like in Ranger, where it was like, bro, like this shit is not good. You shouldn't be worshiping this trash. And he's fighting back against that, but they're not listening. And his parents probably got killed by fucking falling debris and stuff in Gachi. So Zoto's he's probably seen like the very bottom of the fucking bottle. He's
Yeah.
he's been to the roughest part, and he's just fighting
I've
back against
been
this world.
down, I've been down to the bottom of
Copyright
every
strike.
bottle. Oh shit! I fucked up.
But yeah, so this is him getting his piece, man. The second to last page, I guess he fucking killed whoever had the jacket, or maybe he like had to fight a bunch of fucking people for it. Like he killed off a bunch of dudes because he's like holding it in his teeth, man. So it's like this feels like he had to take it from somebody's fucking dead hands.
I can't wait to reread this shit, bro. Like,
My
just going back through chapter 54, like now that you've showed me or that you told me about this, is like, bro, this reread's gonna hit so hard.
Yeah.
A lot of new gen at this point in their stories not all of them go so much in like in terms of planning like their world building and making you feel as lived in, but Keorana has just done a really good job at like making this world feel lived in with so much history and mystery and lore that still is yet to be discovered for however long she wants us to go for.
Yeah, I want to say that
And
this
it's
is the
very impressive.
only
It's
new
probably the
gen
best.
who does this. No, I'm kidding.
Yeah.
Definitely one of the best
Side note.
another
that I'm reading.
Side
A lot of
note.
new gen do a good job, but she's
Side
doing
note.
probably the best. Yes, go ahead.
My cat just jumped on my desk and started trying to drink my coffee.
Oh, cat
Is
kind of
your-
sleepy.
Is your stuff destroyed? Are you straight?
No, I'm good. I'm good.
Okay.
I just
So
if you hear any weird background noises, that's what it is.
all right,
Okay.
couple things I wanted to talk about before we push off on this. So, just in another later chapter, like at the end of that Trash Beast arc, the Kaorana has been sprinkling in a lot of these goddamn details, man. So, Bondis was kind of like auditioning to be a raider or whatever, and when that mission was over, he got what he wanted. Like Zoto gave him like a token of you're in the gang, and he threw him like a chess piece, but the chess piece. It was like fucking Canis Surebrek, the Undertaker. It was Rudo's fucking ancestor, like a trading card. Like this dude's a legend, and they've got like fucking action figures and stuff for this dude. He threw him a thing, and he's like, thanks. I can't remember if he said like I've been looking for this or something, but he gave him this thing, and at the time we didn't know who Canis Surebrek was, I'm pretty sure, and now we know, and it's like this guy is a legend, and a lot of people like know who he is, and Rudo is related to him, and it's like Zodo says he was born on the surface, and he knows that Rudo was from the sphere, and it's like it seems like something probably happened, like history is being erased. It seems like something happened between the surface and the sphere, and like maybe at some point they were just dumping trash to like cover up the truth, because he's like in this chapter, Corvus is like, the first cleaner noticed these clues and started looking for vestiges, but on the ground it's not the kind of place to make things easy. Mountains of waste too large to ever fully dispose of, and monsters made of trash kept getting in the way. And you see this guy, in this picture right here, this guy, he went and saw that like fucking golem that Rudo fucking, remember when they fought with Kuro in the woods, the no man's land, that giant thing that Rudo had the like box eat. This thing is in that picture. It's like some four-armed, like clothed like monster thing. So this thing's been around for a while, and just a lot of stuff I noticed just from looking back at old chapters. But like this first cleaner, I wonder who the fuck they were. And fucking Canis Surbrek has like fucking totems or something, and everybody's got this fucking Rudo's, the Undertaker's fucking icon on it, like all these items. This story is really fucking deep, man, and you are not gonna get everything on one read.
You know, something that was actually, I was looking at the Reddit, and someone pointed this out. I'm like, oh my god, this is pretty interesting. That giant creature between in the middle of the border between like spear and the ground. What if that is just Canis? What if he just morphed into this thing? Because like I think in the chapter when there were like, I forgot that girl whose power was with the electric comb, that electrified her hair.
Yeah.
When she was thrown outside of the trash beast, we saw a bit of a reflection of that thing's face in her eye, and it had like 3 eyes similar to the shape of the Watchmen series.
Yeah, and it's called the Watchman.
Yeah.
He could have become that thing.
Yeah, it could have. Yeah.
Well,
or maybe the Watchmen series were created based off of that thing.
wait, what if Corvus's eye is connected to its third eye, which is why he can see everything that's going on, because it's this giant in between worlds.
Oh.
Is the pattern similar to how the circles look on the Watchmen series? On the back of Corvus's neck?
Corvus got kind of like a fucking Millennium Eye type deal going on back here. It's a little.
Yeah, I mean, it's still a possibility.
Yeah, we can't rule out anything right now. Another thing.
Anything's possible.
Another thing, Corvus was saying how he was trying to like make his own. He was trying to make like imitation Watchmen series stuff. That was what Corvus's whole deal was. And when Rudo and them like got back with the crew, Tamsi was there, and somebody was like, "Yeah, that Corvus guy overheard what he was saying, and he was like talking about making imitation Watchmen gear." And Tamsi like thought to himself, like, imitation, like make new Watchmen series. Like he was like questioning it, like he hadn't thought about it. So to me, I don't think Tamsi's related to Zodil at all. He is a third party
force.
Yeah, third party chaos, and he's doing his own thing. Maybe he might get related, but
I mean, so if they were related, Zodil would already have the answers on how to get to the sphere.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah,
because boy can turn into angel or whatever.
Yeah,
but either way, this was a banger chapter. We got a lot of stuff happened. Even with no action, a lot of words, a lot of flashbacks, a lot of great moments, man. This was a fucking banger.
If you have been kind of following Gachiakuta, lightly or whatever, because you started reading from the beginning and, you don't have that strong of an opinion on it. I know that there's a lot of people out there like that with any series. Do yourself a favor and reread this shit, because like I'm sure your rating of this series will skyrocket on a reread just based on like what's been going down the last like 5 to 10 chapters.
For sure.
Yeah.
But with that, as they say in show business, I'm all squeezed out. What about you, Weber?
I'm all good. I talked a lot.
He almost said I'm all squeezed out.
You can say it. It's okay. You can let it out, man. What about you, Docs?
I'm squeezy.
And Traffy?
You know what? I am still upset that Yato has betrayed me.
Huh?
And you know what they say, if you can't beat them, join them. So I'm all squeezed out.
Oh
Hey.
my god.
I was expecting if you can't beat them, squeeze them, but we'll take it.
Yeah,
Anyway, that's going to do it for Gachi, chapter 116. And now we're jumping into Galaxias, chapter 11, Narade versus Chalk, part 2. Knox, what are your thoughts?
I like the continuation of this fight. And the dialogue that we get, like just inside of the first couple of chapters. I think it's really cool how Chalk shoots the spikes and it's like, let's see how you dodge in midair. I think that this is like very common in shonen action where, you know, a character will have jumped into the air in some kind of way and the other fighter will be like, let's see if you can dodge in midair. Like, I feel like it's
Yeah.
so common in these action sequences, and it's always so cool to see how a mangaka decides to, you know, have the character deal with that, and just using the dragon folk you know, physiology in this way to allow him to kind of like swing his tail and use like the inertia and the momentum to dodge in midair was a really good idea. And then the dialogue that is, you know, Chalk glazing Narade basically. like his conduct does not suggest
Strength incarnate.
intelligence. It's clear he's not the type to think before he acts.
That man dumb
Like
as hell.
he has no wasted movements. This guy's an idiot, but he's cold-blooded in all of these kind of ways. Yeah, I like this panel where it's like it's as if strength itself took a human form and suddenly appeared in the world one day. I think that was really hype. But I just think that it's cool that the author is like specifically, you know, notating Narade's like high level battle IQ, like combat intelligence is like,
Mhm.
you know, the main
Instinct.
focus of like what makes Narade like special here. And that's like a big conversation, like, you know, that we see all the time, like just inside of anime Twitter. But I feel like across like all, you know, anime and manga discussion circles, regardless of the app or regardless of the social media platform, is that combat IQ is something that a lot of people seem to care, you know, a lot about. So it's just cool that Narade is getting writing like this right now.
Yeah, it's nice that a character is like immediately like responding to that with like, you know, this isn't normal. Like, you know, in most cases, a character will be shown as like a fucking battle genius, but the opponent never like comments on how like abnormal it is, and he's like, I can sense that this dude has like not had much, you know, experience, but it just he's so strong, and his body is able to do things that like you shouldn't be able to do like without any kind of like experience in this field.
Or formal training or anything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like it's just raw strength and fucking intuition and
Bro,
shit.
really different. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You're
Reminded
looking
me
at a
of
future Hall of Famer right now.
Mm-hmm.
kind of reminded me of Miriam, but I want to say Miriam was getting, it wasn't his like through the things that was like eaten by the queen or whatever. So it wasn't
Yeah,
like
phagogenesis or whatever.
yeah, it wasn't
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
wasn't exactly this, but he still kind of came out like just never fought in his life, but still just a god. Yeah.
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 I like how
get-
this chapter they kind of reveal Schmidt's power more in depth, because we initially assumed it was some like shape shifting power, but now
Yeah.
we know it's the ability to distort other senses, and how that plays
Make
into
illusions.
how that plays into dude getting kicked out of the town without even fighting.
Yeah, he's not actually shape
Mm.
shifting. It's more like a Kyoka Suigetsu kind of like situation with like Aizen's Shikai or whatever.
Yeah.
Where it
Yeah.
makes you see him as something else, right?
Yeah, exactly. It's not like a physical transformation. It's like a manipulation of the senses of those who just so happen to be looking at you, which is like
Yeah.
a cool delineation to get.
Well,
wonder
no,
if that
because
Go ahead.
the the way that it's set up, they never actually saw Schmidt. Like, there is nothing that they had any interaction with him to where, you know, the power would affect them in that sense. So it seems like he can just affect people.
well,
Like,
no,
he
they
wasn't.
saw him as a little girl.
No, no, because he wasn't actually there. That wasn't.
Oh, do we know that?
Yeah, because the
No,
townspeople
he
didn't
was
see
there,
the
but he
little
was
girl.
altering people.
Wait,
The
why
other
do you
people
say?
didn't see the girl, but Nerid and Geo saw him, so he more or less distorted everyone's sense of like sight senses, so that only Geo and Nerid saw the kid, but everybody else just saw the two of them.
But why
Right.
He
do
just
that if they?
disguised himself.
Why do that if they don't even know what Schmidt looks like?
because Schmidt just doesn't want his true form to be seen anywhere, probably. But he
Yeah.
wanted to make sure that they saw something for one reason or
Yeah.
another.
Okay.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure they saw the little girl, but like everybody else is like, yeah, they were like, what little girl? So I hadn't thought about the fact that like maybe he was making himself visible to them in a form, but not visible at all to anyone else. So I kind of like that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that has to be what it was.
Yeah, because I was gonna say like I wonder if this was something that was changed like in the writing, like maybe he was initially a shapeshifter and then like a week later the author was like, nah, actually I'm gonna make it something different. But the fact that the people said that they don't remember seeing a little girl makes it feel like it was always the intention to have it be this type of thing.
I
It
think
just
it's common for like authors to kind of like, you know, zag when you think they're gonna like zig or whatever in that kind of way. Like it's clearly set up to make you think that he's a shapeshifter, and then it's
yeah,
like, oh, but nope, I thought ahead. I thought outside of the box, and it's actually this explanation. Bet you thought it was the other one though. Haha, I'm tight.
yeah,
Mhm.
Type shit.
yeah.
Yeah.
That always cooks.
Yeah.
That I will say this chapter felt better for the exposition given by Chalk versus the last time when Chalk was like saying it to
Schmidt.
who was it, Smith? Yeah.
Schmidt.
So he's like saying the stuff to narrate here, and it's like, you know, these are the religious ruins known as the 7-star caves, and he's giving them all this information. I aim to be the strongest. You know, the fucking title. It's not fucking logical. He's saying all this stuff, and I feel like it feels better for him to be explaining it to narrate somebody who's a fucking bonehead and doesn't know all this information. But it felt weird, you know, 4 chapters ago to me when he was like felt like explaining like the ley lines and stuff to a dude who should already know. So I think this was an improvement IMO, but
Yeah, this one
yeah,
makes a lot more sense, you know, because we already have dialogue dedicated to narrate being like, why the fuck are you down here chilling like underground like a fucking worm? Like if you're supposed
Yeah.
to be this like dude with like this huge standing, and he's like, no, you don't understand. This was this thing before, and now it's this thing, and I'm inheriting it, you know, so it makes a lot more sense for him to like go out of his way to explain that.
yeah,
It is. It's nice to finally know what Chalk wants to do in this town. Why it was digging the place up to begin with,
yeah.
and the fact that he wants to be one of the royal zodiac, the people closest to the Dragon King. I feel like that's not all of it. I feel like maybe he wants to like get into the higher ranks and eventually like find a way to be the next Dragon King.
I do
Because
feel like
based off his attitude, I feel
Right.
like that would be something he would want. To just run the country into the ground.
I feel like he kind of threw out a lot of like terms at us at once though. Like the known as the 7-star caves, the first Dragon King, Atlas Catasterius, fucking I'll be the strongest dragon out of the Royal Zodiacs. He gave a lot of like big terms
The
all at
Zodiacs were
once.
mentioned. The Zodiacs were mentioned when we met the Kangaroo Granny.
Okay. Never mind then. But it felt like it to me. Maybe I think I read the kangaroo chapters like half sleep or whatever. So I'll let that one slide. But I'm liking his character a little more. At first I was like, you know, why does he want to be king of this fucking anthill? But it's got some fucking significance behind it.
Yeah.
So one thing I am confused about, if Chalk is so much stronger than old Dragon Boy who got kicked out of town, why did they go through the plot to make it seem like he lost in the first place when they could have just beat him?
He probably wasn't there. I think yeah, he
He
said
wasn't. He wasn't at the town.
Yeah,
And so
they waited
faked it.
till he left so they could fake it, but why not just like actually
Probably
beat
because the guy
him at
wasn't there.
any point in time?
he wasn't there,
No,
and
I
so they
think-
just like
Yeah,
I
yeah,
think
no. It says
Here's-
that they
here's-
waited for him to leave.
I think it was Schmidt's idea to get them to go there while he was away, so it'd be like less of a hassle to take over the town. Then when Reno came back, it's implied that he tried fighting them, but he didn't really do much. He looked beat up, and
Yeah,
so he
so
ran away because he saw that they were so like out of his league.
yeah, but
So
it
he did
makes
fight
the
them,
did he?
but I think Schmidt just wanted to do this to like try not to have as much of a hassle if he was in the town to
but they
begin
already
with.
beat him. If they
Did
did
they-
fight,
Did
he
they
does
fight
have
him?
like scuffs on
implied
his face in this little flashback.
He might have just fought
Picture.
Bronze.
No,
where
because
is it
it's
in-
Chalk standing over him.
Where do
Ooh,
you?
but you never know.
Well,
It
I
could have
think-
been
I think that's
Bronze,
the
and then
illusion.
Chalk would've-
It's
It could be the
the
illusion.
third page
Oh, wait, no.
from the end.
No, it's not an illusion. No, it's it is a little confusing, I will admit. But
Oh, okay, yeah.
based on what it is, Schmidt's idea was to like get it all over with, then ruin his reputation with the townsfolk, and that could most likely just demoralize him to basically feel ashamed to go back, and then doubles down with the fact that he's so out of his depth that he actually did just run away at the end of the day.
I
Yeah, I
don't
think
know. It
that's it.
seems
I think that's it.
convoluted.
Well, I mean,
is a lot.
it's going to be extremely complicated with an ability like Schmidt's, like throwing monkey wrenches in the situation to the degree that we know that it will when it's such a disruptive and confusing like kind of situation to begin with, right? It's like, okay, I took this form, made myself lose in your body in public in front of everybody, like while you just so happen to be away. And
Yeah.
then now that this new person is like kind of taken over this area and he's wildly powerful, your morale has been shattered to the degree that you don't even want to come back to, to kind of like prove what actually happened to people because you can't beat this nigga anyway.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Like I'm imagining like when he came back to the town, like he didn't know that they did this thing, so he came in, he like, hey, let me get a hot dog, and they're like, get the fuck out of town,
You
bro.
abandoned us, and it's
Yeah.
like, oh shit, like that'd be a huge shock to anyone. So it's like, no, you don't understand. Like, I'll go run up on that motherfucker right now and show you I'm not
Yeah.
scared. Oh, actually, he's wildly powerful.
Yeah.
I don't think I can beat him anyway, and you guys are already all mad at me. So like, I'm just gonna go.
Yeah, he
I
goes
just
because they're not there when he gets there, so it's like he can't be like, watch this, I'll fuck him up now. So they kick him out of town, and then he goes and tries to run up on Chalk, gets his ass whooped, and then it's like, well, shit, it would have happened anyway. Like I guess I'll
Right.
just be an outcast.
I guess I don't know. I
It's still
still feel
convoluted,
like
but it is what it is.
I'm
it
not.
is
Yeah, I'm not gonna
overly-
lie. It is relatively convoluted, but it makes
Mm.
enough sense to where it doesn't feel pointless.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Yeah, that's fair.
He seems shaken up by it. Like when he's like, I can't get his face out of my head. Like you see like his eyes are drawn like to be shaky and shit, and then you see him like on his back, like, bro, I'll spare your life. However, this town is mine. Like he got bitch made, but like before they made him a bitch, like they broke him down. Like they made the
Yeah,
people not
and this
fuck
is a
with him.
very like psychological like conflict anyway, which is like in line with Schmidt's character in the first place. Like,
Yeah.
like it makes sense that Schmidt would play games like this
I just
using
had
his
an idea.
abilities. So
I just had a pretty interesting idea that would actually make all this make a lot more sense. What if Renault's ability is like very big? Is like a very big counter to like Chalk's in a way, but he has to be like he has to be like mentally like stable to actually pull things off. And them going through this whole convoluted plan was to shake him up to the point where he can't fully utilize his abilities, so
Kinda
that
like
Chalk can actually like beat him into the ground and just make it so he wouldn't try anything ever again.
kind of like a Green Lantern thing, right? Doesn't Green Lantern have to be like
Exactly.
in the right headspace to like use his
Yeah,
ring
they
or
need to
something?
have they have to have the right headspace, and they also
Mhm.
can't be around yellow. They made that canon again, I think.
Yeah. So
Yellow the
plus
weakness. Holy crap!
plus I mean Chalk also had he had fucking Schmidt with him, and fucking Sludge Dude Bronze was probably there too. So it's like, yeah, you can step to me, but
3-on-1.
like, yeah, like you're not fucking with us, dog. We're too powerful, and we're gonna take your town, and they already don't fuck with you, so you might as well get out of here, bro. Like
Yeah.
I'm doing you a service. Like I'm showing you mercy. Get out of here. Get out of my sight. Don't come back to my town. Your people are mine. They're slaves. All this shit. So it's like, dude's broken.
Look, I already
Which at
know
the
Party Jams is about to hit me with a paragraph on why I'm wrong, so I'm waiting for it.
we could always
Type shit.
let me double check. Let me see if he actually commented something on my last review.
Yeah. He
Imagine.
commented. He dropped a big comments on this one like a day ago.
Oh, did he? I didn't even peep that yet.
He dropped it like right before. I was like, I'm dropping this before you guys review or whatever. I forget what
Oh,
else I said, but
shit.
something that I thought was funny though in this chapter was Geo just grabbing dude and throwing him on her back. Like she's strong like that. Like
Yeah, and you just came from like a 4-mile like sprint
Bro.
that like we got a panel dedicated to you being tired from.
You know what this made me think of though? Fucking Luffy and fucking Gone. This is some shit that they would do. Like you
Yeah,
can't
type
go
shit.
into town. Don't worry. You won't step foot in town technically, but you going in there. This is some shit Luffy would do.
Yeah.
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 Dun 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 dun.
Copyright strike.
No.
Oh no, they're gonna demonetize us before we get monetized now.
Oh.
Yeah, but good chapter. Got some more of the battle IQ stuff. This one page, what is it? Page 5. The same one where he's like, if it's as if strength itself took form. The panel under that, like the bottom 4 panels, I was very confused on what the fuck happened here because like they're talking and then he's like, oh crap, the wall is cracking, but then what the fuck is happening here? Is water like rushing in or something? And then it just throws him to the ground or something. Like what is I cannot tell what's happening in these bottom 4 panels.
It looks like he's like falling and then he fell through the ceiling of this cavern.
Oh, okay. So I was like thinking, like, did a spear, did Chalk shoot something from behind him or something? But okay, so
Yeah.
they're falling.
Okay,
Yeah, that's the only thing that would make sense there.
yeah. I thought I thought it was like water at first too, but no, they were still falling the whole time, and he just crashed into the ground.
Good save, good save. Because I was gonna say this is some amateur shit right here, but that's good. That's good.
Oh yeah, I found his comment from the review. It says, I wonder why Chalk and Schmidt did that scheme. Chalk seems stronger. Either he did it to demotivate the townspeople so they'd be easier for him to obey him, or he has some weakness that could potentially be exploited.
Okay.
Yeah, and like when when Gio and Narade were there, they were also kind of like on some like, you guys got to get the fuck out of here because like when they show up, it's all hell's gonna break loose. Like they were on some get on your fucking knees when Bronze shows up. So like these guys definitely like put that shit in their head that they are not fucking around.
Yep. Which, with how we learn everything that happened with Reno earlier, it made Gio's speech actually like hit a lot harder, and it felt a lot more motivating.
Yeah, I'm glad we got some moments from Gio here because I've been missing her.
Yeah.
With all the action going on, Gio needed this.
Yeah. I also just side note, funny moment. Reno's like, you're awfully calm for all the shit that just happened, and your friend going off to fight the literal embodiment of death for me. And he's like, the guy rearranged how my island looks.
Yeah, like I'm not worried about his life, bro. He changed he changed my entire island, bro. That shit is a fucking horseshoe shape now, yeah.
Yeah. But yeah,
But
I liked her motivational speech towards him, talking about her and her dreams, her adoptive father, Holly, and how he probably gave up a lot to raise her. And despite all that, being overprotective, he still sent her out on her way to go on an adventure and explore the world.
yeah.
And so she just gonna do what she wants to be somebody that he could be proud of.
Yeah, I like that.
Yeah.
She needed her moments, yeah. And we getting them.
She's got the heart of a true adventurer.
Yeah, that's for sure. But I'm tapped out on Galaxias chapter 11, I think. What about you, Traffy? Got anything else?
Yeah, I'm tapped out.
Knox.
I'm good too.
And we
Just one last thing. I do want to say I like the crystal cavern that we're in, and I do like that at the end of the chapter, Nereid's actually starting to get a bit exhausted and annoyed with how Chalk's using his abilities, with all the spikes all over the place.
yeah,
So it seems like he's actually being pushed.
Yeah, it's gonna be nice. This is what I think all of us were saying we wanted, fucking
Yeah.
Narade to actually see a challenge and not just fucking
Yeah.
blow his way through. This is a character who he hasn't landed a single blow, I don't think, on Chalk yet. Chalk's just throwing shit at him, and like Chalk hasn't like done, severe damage to him either, but like Narade hasn't, blown his way through his opponent this time. So this is nice.
Yeah.
Yeah. But that's gonna do it for chapter 11 of Galaxias. Now jumping into Ranger Reject, chapter 160, Back to Sleep, yet again. Traffy, let's hear your thoughts.
All right, so first off, last video I called it. I was talking about how there's the possibility of Sakurama becoming an antagonist, and that's what this chapter looks like it's setting up.
Okay.
So
you did say it.
With the events of this chapter, between both what's going on with the Neo Rangers and with Chidori, we see that all that Chidori wants to do is honor the Phantom script that was created by Sinai. And it looks like his goal is just to end the story, and he doesn't care what happens next, as he said that Shinya can go make a sequel afterwards. but Sakurama wants to stop him. And I think the whole idea behind that is, while technically Chidori wants to end the Rangers, Sakurama's still on his goal of reforming the Rangers. And those are opposing views from those two sides, but the biggest thing is that Sakurama wants to keep D out of the fight, and D is not okay with that.
Yeah.
Mm.
It looks like another situation similar to three-way battle, where two forces are kind of at odds, and D is in the middle, not really agreeing with either. He wants to, fucking stop whatever Chidori's got going on, but he doesn't agree with how Sakurama and Co are trying to go about doing their thing. It looks like, because they locked him in the dream space, so clearly he's not on the same page.
Well, to be fair, if it goes that route again, it will be a four-way battle. It'll be Chidori versus the Neo Rangers versus the Rangers, and if D gets back in time, and D.
Yeah.
So that's interesting. But the return of Magatia's Dream World offers a lot of questions. So
sure.
we get the reintroduction of Exus and Peltrola. Those are both great, but those aren't the focus, because Sakurama mentions, hey, the collaborator can answer the questions on the reason you were born. And we see Shion. And so at first you're like, okay, hold on, the collaborator is Shion. That's from far left field, but that's cool. And then we see Shinya. And I saw people talking about this. I think it was actually in my Discord. But, they were saying that maybe the Dreamscape can create Shinya's presence there because he was in it before. But we haven't seen the Dreamscape create people to fit in the world. Like everyone who's in the Dreamscape has actually been in it. So this looks like it could maybe be the original Shinya or a clone. The non-aging part's kind of weird in regards to that.
So I think these are all them, all the original people. But I think I was talking to V when the chapter, when he first posted it, and he was saying that Magatia once said that he could not actually reproduce people. So the people that are in there are like real.
Yeah.
So the way I think this is going is, at the end of the three-way battle, Peltrola and Shion, Shion was battling Peltrola, I believe. I believe it was him, along with Benny, who is a Neo Ranger. So I think they're using Magatia's dream space as a sort of reforming zone. So like Exis probably wasn't going along with the program. Shion wasn't going along with the program. Peltrola clearly isn't going to fucking follow anyone's orders and go along with the program. And now D is not doing what they want to do. So they chuck these people in here and then put them in this like fucking hypnosis dream space where they kind of like have to, follow these rules or whatever, or, things happen to them and it like kind of fucking breaks them into being a model citizen. We need you to not be fucking angry about this thing, so go into this place and cool your head or whatever. And Shinya,
We get a pay cut.
yeah, I think this Shinya is a clone, or the original Shinya, and the Shinya that we see is a clone. And so what I'm thinking is that maybe at some point this guy, he was the original Shinya Yellow Keeper. He cloned himself, and the clone went fucking crazy, and that's what we see as the Yellow Keeper currently. He's fucking going off script. He got too far to nab and throw into the crazy zone, and they got this Shinya who's the OG, and he was not happy. Maybe he was fucking mentally broken or something. They threw him in here and they kind of gave him a purpose.
That actually gives credence to a theory I had that the clones face some kind of like mental deterioration because they are a clone, which would
Yeah.
explain why Sosei started going crazy. And if that is the case with Shinya, that could explain his actions as well. If he is the clone, the actual God, the clones make it so hard to talk about. I'm
Yeah.
not talking about
Yeah.
the Shinya
Yeah.
in the dreamscape. I'm talking about the one that's wrapped up in the tree right now.
Yeah. The Shinya that
True
we know.
Shinya.
Yeah, the Shinya
Just
that
say
we
Shinya for
know.
the guy in the tree and just I don't know, dream Shinya just
Yeah.
Tria
differentiated.
and Dreamia.
Tree
Tria
Shinya.
and Dreamia.
Yeah.
That's perfect.
Tree Shinya, I think, he was the perfect clone, and he knows everything. Like he doesn't have like any crazy, or maybe he does have malfunctions. It's just like it's like he's a sociopath or something. But he's like he doesn't have any crazy like defects. Like he doesn't have 6 toes or anything. But he's fucking sick in the head, and the other one went crazy.
Yeah,
And I don't know. It's hard to tell, man, especially with all these clones. It's like I want to say, like, they're not gonna do the clone thing with Shinya too, because they did it with Suzukiri and they did it with Sosei and they did it with so and so. And it's like, are they gonna do the clone thing again? But I want to say it did happen. Plus,
I
we
mean,
were
they have the technology to set it up, so they could just start cloning everybody.
yeah,
One
and
clone, two clone, three clone.
yeah, and we kept like talking about like how is he, keeping his age or whatever. Maybe the clones don't age, and it's a situation like that where like the clone just didn't age, and that's why Shinya looks the way he did 30 years ago or however long ago the TV show was, 6 years ago or something, not 30. I'm tripping. But
I
yeah,
will
man,
say,
this
oh my bad, go ahead.
no, I was just gonna say this chapter just has a lot for it, a lot going on. And when I saw Shinya in this tree, first thing I thought of was fucking Tengen in the tree, and I was like, who did it better, yeah? At
I
the end of
thought
the
of
Well, I just
picture.
thought
fucking. I
I just
thought
thought
of.
what happened to I thought of what happened to Sasuke in Boruto.
That's what I was literally about to say. I thought
Oh,
of Trisuke.
oh man, yeah.
uh,
It's so funny seeing this guy in a tree like this, and he's just calm.
I will
Oh
say
yeah.
that this is an order from your superior panel. I need that.
Wait, where is that again?
What page is that? It's after X's is reintroduced.
Oh yeah, oh man, bro, yeah, gotta talk about, bro. Exes, please step on me next, bro. Do whatever you gotta do,
I was gonna ask, do we simp?
please.
Put them
Yes,
alien heels
Okay,
on
good.
me.
yeah. And this was the chapter that V was hyping. I remember last review I said V was like Negi's the GOAT, greatest of all time, and
Oh, it's
y'all.
because of X's and the secretary outfit.
I think so
Not
because
gonna
he
lie,
was
that
like
does
the
something.
yeah
God damn it, V.
he was like the Gooners are go crazy. You right, bro. I'll join them
Uh,
in this. Yeah, this
we just got to
see.
keep that guy away from this manga.
Yeah, no worries.
Yeah.
He only reads stuff with little never mind.
Oh.
But yeah, this is a great chapter, man. Lots to see here, bruh. So something I've been rambling, so I'm gonna give one thought out and then I'm gonna let somebody else say something. Um the way he Sakurama was doing the whole like, yeah, he'll tell you the reason you were born. It makes you like wonder like who is he talking about? The first thing you go is like, who is he? And you turn the page and you're like, okay, so are we gonna see the next person? Are we gonna see this person? We got kind of like a silhouette at the top of the page. He'll be able to teach you the reason you were born. It looks like a person standing there like a shadow or something. And D's like, he who collaborated with the Neos. You know him very well, and you go through the line of people that D knows, and it's like the first person I think of is Imamatai, but it's like, nah, it's not Imamatai, I don't think. And then I'm like, okay, is it fucking Yellow Keeper or something? It's like, nah, I don't think it's Yellow Keeper. But then you just go down the line, and then he gets in there, and the first person you see is X's. It's like, okay, is it X's? It's like, nah, I don't think it's X's. X's, isn't gonna tell him. X is also, mind fucked. Then you turn the page, 2 times, and it's Shion. It's like, is it Shion that they were supposed to see? That's supposed to tell, D everything that he needs to know? And it's like, no, it's not Shion. Turn the page, is Peltrola? Is it Peltrola that's supposed to be? Like he plays this game where every character, it's like, is this the person? And at the end it is with Shinya. So it's like we've gone through this list of 4 people, but there's still people in here. Like when you see all the people that got pay cuts or whatever, like you can see the names, and we got Saito and Yamano, and those are not characters that we know. And then like when you see the picture with all the names, there's like 13, 14 people up here, and it's like these there's possibly, 4 or 5 more people in here that we haven't seen or that we don't know about that's in this place. So somebody is in here to tell D what he needs to know, but like there's characters we don't know.
Yeah, and like to your point in regards to that, flipping through this chapter, it was like you had to pause for a second and think. So like when I first saw X's, I was like, no, it couldn't be X's who tells him, the reason why he exists. She's also another invader, so why would she know that? And then you flip and you see Shion, and it's like, hold on, Shion was just a rank and file ranger. Basically, he wouldn't know anything about why the invaders exist. And then you get to Peltrola, and you're like, okay, no, Peltrola could definitely tell him, but Peltrola never, like, the time we spent with him, he never showed any knowledge of their existence or anything like that. He was just like, I want to kill humans. And then you flip to
I am your
Shinya,
god.
and Shinya's like the one person you're like, he could definitely know, but even in this situation, he looks like he's in this role, and he's not going to know anything about the outside world. So is someone going to literally tell D the reason for his existence, or is this whole scenario set up to force him to learn why he's in this scenario? And I think the whole idea that, they're in a workplace, they're working for pay, if they go off script, it docks their pay. I think this is leading up to showing him his purpose rather than just telling him.
Yeah. I do think that there's going to be a person. I hope so. I can't wait to see what this like arc is going to bring us, especially with them bringing back Magatsia's dream space. Like that was something when that arc was ongoing. I wish we would have gotten a little more of. And it's cool that not GG, but Juji has that ability because he took the Magatsia serum back in the 3-way battle arc, and he got taken over or whatever by Magatsia, but that got suppressed, and it's like, oh, okay, he can still do Magatsia's like abilities. That's cool.
Yeah, I that dude is so angry when he sends D into the dream space
He's
too.
always
Like
angry.
it looks like something bad's about to happen because he's just like, "Yo, you bastard, remember my face?" And then he just sends him to be a office worker.
I think he's just happy to get his fucking lick back because D punched him in the face.
That's fair.
Yeah.
Get some revenge. Good old classic revenge. It's interesting that this Red Keeper is a very good boy. He's like, I don't want to end up in some tabloid. It's like they keep tweaking the red clones, and this one's super goody two shoes. Not that we ever seen the last Sosei do anything like drink a beer or anything, but he's like, I like to avoid all that stuff, like goofing around with girls or going for drinks.
He'll snap soon.
And everyone just kind of like reacting to Chidori's whole thing. This chapter just did a lot, man. And I guess like I really want to see the broadcast that Chidori did, because like I thought he was like out in like a stadium or something when he did it, when he was like, if anyone can beat me, I'll free him or whatever. If not, he's dead. But then like you get here and Chidori is still in Yellow Battalion with buddy ass like chained up or whatever.
Yeah, there's just so many questions that spawn from this chapter. It's legitimately insane.
Negi's good for that. It's
He
like just when
is.
you think he's starting to answer questions, he's like, here you go 2 more for y'all.
Yeah.
The man can't stop cooking.
Yeah, for real. He good at making questions and just giving us stuff to like wonder and care about. And just they fucking caught Kisu, man. The fucking the Kuroko caught fucking Chocobo. I'm surprised they managed to do that. Maybe all this time on Earth has softened his senses up. Yeah.
Yeah, I
So
mean, especially with his powers, like how do you do that when you can't see or hear?
Yeah, maybe he was drinking like a milkshake last chapter, so maybe they caught him like as he was like swallowing his milkshake and he couldn't like speak. It's like Yeah,
But
because this thing is saying like "see not" or something.
wasn't he watching them though?
I found it. He's like sipping a drink. He's like, oh, they sniffed this out, and he's like sipping like a cup, like he's got a straw in his mouth. So
Yeah.
maybe they caught him and jumped him right, like as he was like trying to swallow his Mountain Dew or something, and he couldn't like spit out the words to activate his power.
Fucked over by
Maybe
Mountain Dew.
Yeah, brought to you by
Mountain
Mountain
Dew
Dew.
screws everyone over.
Yeah, that shit gonna make his shit stop growing. Yeah, that's what they
Mountain
used to
Dew
say back
ad
in
is
the
crazy.
day.
And sponsor us.
Yeah, let's get that sponsorship. Yeah, but yeah, no, man, this he's asking a lot of questions, and you know where is this gonna go? Magatia Dream Space can go anywhere. D is in this bitch, and like these people, like, are they real? I think they are. You know, how are they gonna get out of here? How did they get in here? What are their deals? You know, um, where does X's go after work? Because I'm trying to go there too. That type of thing. Peltrola, what size is this fucking suit? Because fucking Birdman in the suit is crazy. D also got his fucking face broken like 3 times. There's like
Yeah, there's a
Sakurama, I
couple
think.
panels dedicated to that.
Yeah, he's had his face like shattered. It is just like human body with D face type shit.
Yeah.
Getting smacked around.
Yeah, Yellow Keeper. Yeah, he calls him Yellow Keeper when he punches him, and he's like, "What a rude guy! You need another punch." So it's like, does he even know? Does this Shinya know what Yellow Keeper is, or is he just? Because remember in the original Sleepy School or whatever, everybody just kind of had their like they were brainwashed. It was like, let's go to class. And Sakurama, why aren't you coming to class? Did you do your homework? It's like everybody gonna be here like that, or is
Hmm.
this Shinya gonna be straight?
Maybe he did call him by saying, "Oh, you're a foot soldier."
Did he? Oh
That's
yeah,
Yeah, he
yeah, that's a
did.
good
Soldier, huh?
point.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so maybe maybe he's aware of what's going on, but he's just playing along just for the sake of it. Maybe it is like a rehab center. And he's just kind of like making sure everyone behaves as like his role in it.
You know
Yeah, I'm
what?
just
He is in an officer uniform, so he could be playing the role as like a rehab officer.
yeah.
Yeah,
This shit just gave me big like fucking Shutter Island vibes. Yeah, just
Yeah.
fucking. You're not here researching patient zero. You're patient zero, whatever. I forget whatever it fucking was. They were giving him the cigarettes and shit, and he fucking ended up being a patient at the place.
Spoilers.
Oh no! Whoops. Okay.
The
Yeah.
old
Sorry.
movie.
What are you
Yeah.
doing, dude?
Sorry, guys. But yeah, D as usual, saying the things that need to be said. Shion gives him the documents, is like, copy these. It's like, why didn't you just print a bunch of them, bro? why I gotta
Yeah,
copy
I
it?
know that hits you.
Yeah, for real.
That's what you go through every day at work.
Yeah, I'm like, dog, you could just fucking hit the button, dog. What do you mean you don't know how to copy and paste? But yeah, flipping through, we got the Neos. I can't wait to see what the Kuroko, like what Green sent them to actually do, because they're like, we're not supposed to fight yet. So clearly there's a battle going to be happening, and what is to come next after that? Can't wait.
hmm
Yeah.
So I think I am squeezed for chapter 160. What about you, Weeb?
I just wanted to see more of XX.
Oh yeah.
Oh, you're one of
X's.
those. No,
Yes.
Yeah, I'm here, man. I'm here for it, bro. That's the fit. Yeah, man. Yeah, bro. Like, I'm just looking at her, bro. I'm in love. Yeah. Type shit. Yeah. What about you, Nas?
I'm good. I'm good.
And Traffy?
I'm all skeeted out. I'm back.
Why did you emphasize the skeet, bro?
Yeah, that was crazy.
I had
You
to.
need
Okay,
let 'em-
fine,
Uh-oh.
Traffy.
We got
I'm
some
quitting.
plosives
I'm
on that.
Oh, I thought he was saying fine. He's gonna say he skeeted too. I was
Oh,
Come on.
y'all
Say
converting,
it.
y'all
Say a
converting
Greek.
pure-hearted
crazy.
weeb like this, bro, to
Bullshit.
your debaucherous ways.
Say a Greek.
Oh, maybe next time. Let's go do it for chapter 160. Back to sleep yet again. And now we jump into our Shonen Jump part of the podcast episode, and we're talking about Ichi the Witch, 10th Hunt, or chapter 10, the Hisame Magic Part 4. Weeb, what you got?
I was right.
Uh-oh.
About
I
what?
was about the sashimi and how she would instantly like it.
Was that a you
Okay.
thing?
That
Or
was
that a-
fucking
Yes.
obvious, dude. Don't try to claim
I'm
something
taking
that
what I
was
can get.
so clear.
That was the
I'm
us thing.
taking what I can get.
Oh
Anyway,
no.
jokes aside, I like how we opened this up with him like meeting some random fisherman with a deer skull on his head, which something out of a slasher movie.
Yeah, this
Yeah.
looks like
Just
the
coming
this
out
looks
of
like
fish guts.
this looks like the cover of a few black metal albums in my
Yeah.
day.
But yeah, we basically get his like literal origin of how he learned how to cook and catch fish from this guy who just wants to discover and cook and eat all the fish in the world, essentially. And so,
Yeah.
and I guess that shows how he's like so precise with his knife now, learning how to like cut through fish delicately, fillet them, and it
From
shows that
the
he had like
inside
on
specifically.
the inside too.
Yeah, that's crazy.
I
But,
do like how the ceremonial dressing of a fish is tied back into Hisame. I do find that really cool. And just having the backstory, because like we could have assumed it. You know, he's a hunter. Of course, he'd know how to cook. But I like the fact that they gave us information on how he knows how to cook and how to dress fish properly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Kind of like an older brother, fatherly figure, role model for a bit of his time when he was growing up. So it's nice to
Yeah.
see that he had somebody over those years until he went down to the village.
He's probably got
Uh,
multiple characters in his
it's
history that have
possible.
come and taught him like
Much about hunting.
yeah, like a lot of different like aspects of like what makes him such a good hunter probably
Yeah.
comes from a lot of these different kinds of, figures or characters coming into his life for certain reasons before meeting Discaris.
Wonder if
Yeah.
we'll see a moment where, like, sometimes animals don't like always just maul, humans. Maybe at some point he was probably, raised or protected with like bears or something, and since they didn't like try to kill him, he didn't kill them, and he was raised with like a bear cub and shit, and he like learned how to hunt, more through watching like a bear hunt or something. I don't know, just a
Yeah.
random thought,
I also
but
really like how, Osamu Nishi is allowing the characters to like just Ichi playing with the immortality aspect of, the magics needing to be defeated a certain way, otherwise they'll always keep coming back. Like this kind of thing that he does in this chapter with the Hisame magic is only possible because of that. Oh, you didn't beat me specifically how I need to. Well, then it allows you to do this thing in a way that allows me to react to it instead of just being dead. You know what
yeah,
I mean? And it shows like a consideration for all of the aspects of like how this, world kind of works mechanically. And is just shows like, oh shit, I thought about this shit a ton, and this is all the different things that you can do with it. And it's just like a really creative application of the things that have kind of been set up so far for how this
Mhm.
shit kind of works, and it just feels really good.
yeah.
Yeah.
One of my favorite things is how different authors like write ways around dealing with characters that are immortal, and it's like this
Yeah.
is another cool one. It's like, yeah, I mean, you gave them a trial, they wanted to look good, and it's like, yeah, you're not gonna die, so I'll dress you up like a fancy ass meal, and you're gonna fuck with it.
Mm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
So I
You
wanted
know what's
to oh
go ahead. Go ahead.
okay.
no? This is
Well,
go ahead.
he was talking to me, weeb. Anyway, no, but but nah. So I went through back when in an earlier segment when Yato or maybe it was Traffy talked about how Rick said or Party Jams left a big comment on our last episode. I went through and read it during one of the previous segments, and I really liked what he had to say about Ichi the Witch, specifically because he was disagreeing with Traffy. But I'm gonna
Yo.
read it. I'm gonna read the comment. He says, "I definitely disagree with Traffy though on this being the weakest chapter from chapter 9 last week." He said, "I've said this in previous comments, but Ichi has been doing mostly just setup until now. This chapter shows a lot of creative problem solving these tests will require. Also demonstrates Ichi's hunting knowledge can be used greatly outside of combat." And I just think that I agree like a lot with that as far as like what made that last chapter good, although it didn't, progress the narrative, which was like the complaint that I think Traffy made
Yeah.
last chapter is that the plot didn't really go anywhere. And
Yeah.
I think I like kind of like halfway disagreed with Traffy in the previous review because I thought that the chapter served like, multiple purposes that still mattered despite not moving the plot forward. So I didn't think it was too big of a deal that we didn't progress in any kind of way, even though I definitely can see why that would be a criticism, and I think that that's totally valid. Um, but yeah, like I think Rick said, or Party Jams kind of like nailed it with his wording on that the chapter shows a lot of creative problem solving that these tests will require. I really like the way that he worded that. As far as the first part of his comment saying, not sure I fully agree with Knox on the localization commentary, just because remember when I made that complaint about how like the dialogue was so funny because she called herself the goat, and
Yeah.
then like that was like a thing that like the translator just decided to do instead of like translating it directly, and how I like
Yeah.
don't like when translators do that or whatever. But Party Jams,
This one fits.
well, Party Jams was saying like, it's fine when like humor might be lost on the Western audience, or there's like some kind of double meaning or some kind of like culturally relevant reference, like for Japan that like Westerners just like wouldn't get. I think that in situations like that, then like a translator deciding to make it make sense for a Western audience is like totally fine. We've seen that in One Piece. We've seen that in like a whole host of different series. I'm pretty sure there was a really strong example of that in like My Hero Academia at one point too. So if it's something that Western audiences are absolutely not going to get just because they're not Japanese, then like sure, absolutely, then that's totally fine. But if it just feels like a personality thing, like, oh, it'd be cool if I said this instead, then
Yeah.
like that's like kind of like where my complaint was coming from. So I just wanted to clear that up too. But thank you, Party Jams, for the amazing comment, and thank you for disagreeing with Traffy. Let's continue the review.
Okay, well, to change the subject there, two things I want to point out here is we do get to see some of the magic from Descartes' repertoire, because she's able to use ice magic. It looks like its name is Barak.
Oh shit!
Yeah.
Oh, Bam Bam.
Apparently,
Bammers.
creates an ice
Oh.
boat with it.
I grant thee shape Barack.
Yeah.
Hey, I don't know
And
why
it
I read
says-
Bardock at first. I was like, ooh, Dragon Ball.
I put it like as one word, like Chape Barack.
I did that too in my mind at first too. Yeah.
But another thing that I do like from this chapter is I don't know what page this is on, but it's when Descartes says, well, because he is the way he is, there are things that only he can do. I like how this is like a moment of admiration from her towards Ichi, and then she
Yeah.
immediately interrupts it with, because mostly really dumb things, probably.
Yeah.
So like she
Gotta throw the zinger at the end, even if she like starts off the sentence glazing, she has to end hating.
Yeah. So she definitely feels some type of way towards Ichi, but she can't let people know that.
Yeah. Got some respect for the kid, but she's still the greatest. She's still the GOAT. This shit when she said, "Oh hell no," I was tripping. I was like, "Is that another one though? Like, is that like another fucking localization thing?" But
I'm gonna make her say this because she's black.
yeah, right. It's like, is that what happened? Please. But
I will say though, I did have a Traffy Waffy W.
Uh-oh.
Because I called Ichi getting Hisame last chapter when y'all all said that what's her face would get it.
so
Man,
pretty sure last
fuck
chapter
you.
had-
so
What?
so I
Fuck
feel like-
me!
I'm just kidding.
yo, I feel like, bro, I know it feels like it's like a done deal, but I feel like he can still just pass that gym to her, bro. Like, yeah, you should have it.
Yeah,
Like,
but
I
she
don't
didn't
know, man.
earn it.
Yeah, I don't know, man. Part of me
Yeah,
still
if
just
she's
feels
gonna
like
get it, she should earn it.
Yeah, I don't know, man. I just fuck it.
Yeah.
It's just something else that we talked about was in that last review was like we were talking about maybe after this is wrapped up we see like maybe an antagonist finally show their face or something, and so it didn't happen, but this chapter did end in a way where I foresee next chapter beginning with another character, like in another area, like maybe while this is happening, we concluded this arc. It's completely wrapped up. We don't see Ichi and Descartes in the gang. Next chapter, we see like Shiro Badana or something, or some other witch, and some
Yeah,
shit that
chapter
they're
opens
doing.
with a completely different perspective and
Yeah.
setting up something that the main team will eventually run into, but like just
Right.
dangling the plot thread for now. Yeah.
Right, something
So
completely
yeah.
different.
at this point, and let me clarify, this is not a complaint.
It better not be.
Uh,
Just kidding.
So this, so far to this point, it's kind of given off a Monster of the Week vibe because we're just jumping from magic to magic to magic, and I
Yeah.
do think we need that, like, not maybe not even,
Overarching
yeah,
plot.
yeah.
Yeah. I mean, hey, at the end of the day, like, this is an adventure story that's clearly been established, and like this is how like all adventure stories start, is doing like a very like episodic, like, let's go over here and check this section out, let's go over here and explore this area, let's go over here now and then do a thing over here, you know what I mean? It's very like One Piece, Toriko, etc., etc. But that
Yeah.
overarching stuff does eventually come in. As far as like, should it be here by now? Maybe if it wasn't a team that was confident to, like, you know, that we're all confident will not get axed, then we might be like, hey, yo, you guys got to do the thing quickly, otherwise you might
Yeah.
not see 30 chapters. But because I feel like they know that they're going to be sticking around regardless because of, you know, the
mean,
hype that the
think-
creative team brings to the situation and the support that we know that they're all going to get, I think it's fine for now.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
think we'll start to see that at the end of volumes, because we're in volume 2 now. So I think we'll start to see that at the end. Like maybe like I said, we'll have a chapter or two where it kind of like strays off and we see some plot points dangling for a different area. And then like Ichi goes into, you know, they start like, okay, we're going to the next town to hunt the fucking booger magic or whatever. And then like fucking
The booger magic.
yeah, and then, you know, it just kind of like we see like a fucking witch with a fucking hat, but it's just a silhouette or whatever, and it's like mwahaha. You know, we get some crazy shit leading into volume 3, and I think you know, episodic is usually just like you said, how these stories kind of go. Like, you know, a lot of stories like JoJo's is like this, like where they fight fucking bad guy of the week, and then, you know, the actual you know, part 4 or part 3 antagonist shows their face, you know, 19 chapters in, and then they're like the focal point for the rest of the part. I think that's how we're gonna go.
Yeah.
But with magics, you know, it's like, I don't know, it's I want to see like a force. I want to see more than just a bad guy, like not like a Muzan or whatever. I want to see like a group of people who are kind of like in the way, and I think that'll happen. We got to keep quoting, not
We got a
quoting, but
while.
to keep like kind of like going back to Aruma. Aruma has a lot of like people who are like against him. There's a several like antagonistic forces or whatever, and people, you know, making moves in the shadows, and it'll be cool to see some of that, you know, eventually. But I think we're definitely going to be seeing probably one more, you know, part 4 type fucking villain of the week arc.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And now that I'm on like the page, I just wanted to like comment on Hisame's magic, or the Hisame Magic's like review of Ichi's, you know, fabulous display of her presentation or whatever. She's like, it's literally the best ever, gorgeous, magnificent, stunning, even fashionably grotesque. And like I thought about that for a second, and it's like, yeah, okay, so like Ichi did more than just like, you know, provide an aesthetic that's fabulous and that the Hisame Magic would like accept. He's like catering to like every aspect of her character that we've kind of seen so far, because when we pulled up on her little domain here, she had like a bunch of, you know, humans like frozen like popsicles sticking out of this like, you know, big ice castle like design or whatever, and we were commenting about how like that's like kind of like macabre and like
Yeah.
gross, and like, hold on, this bitch is kind of like a sadist low key, like really wants people to like suffer and like, you know, type shit. And it's like she's literally commenting on how Ichi kind of like took that into consideration when it came to this presentation, because like when it comes down to it, like we as people would see a sashimi platter and go like, oh, that looks delicious, I want to fucking eat that. But like we're people that eat animals, you know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like, you know, like from the fish's perspective, from this like shark magic's like perspective, like, yes, this is a grotesque display of like my innards like flayed out into, you know, a fucking platter for people to be seen as delicious and something to eat. So like from her, you know, it's like that episode of SpongeBob when SpongeBob makes Squidward wear that salmon suit and then like walk into public. It's like from the perspective of like humans, it's like not a big deal, but like you're literally underwater in a community of fish people. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
like you're walking around like showing this guy in a salmon suit to literal fish children. Like they could be like, "Damn, my nigga, why are you wearing my uncle?" That's that's fucking gross, dude. Like that's fucking disgusting. Like that's grotesque. So I just think that that's like an interesting thing to notice in the chapter, I guess.
Yeah.
Is that it wasn't just aesthetics. It's like, no, like I played into like, you know, how sinister your character actually is when it comes to like torture and shit too, and other
That's
macabre
real.
things. Yeah.
That's real chefery, yo. The chef gotta be able to pick up on all that shit, yeah.
Type shit, type shit.
Yeah, that's good shit. They talk about that in the Bear. Yo, go watch the Bear if you haven't.
Oh, I just started episode 1.
That shit's peak.
Yeah,
Or
I'm on, like, episode
I've
4.
only seen episode 1. I actually finished it, but yeah, I'm about to continue that. That shit looks like it's gonna be gassy.
Yeah, that shit's good.
Mm.
But yeah, this is another fun chapter. I wonder if we're gonna see Cook Buddy ever again with the knife and the fucking deer skull. If we're ever gonna see him again.
Same.
I wouldn't be surprised. Honestly, while I was reading, I had this weird, like, crackpot theory that maybe he was actually a magic the entire time.
Oh,
He was just
wow.
he just and since Ichi wasn't a woman, he didn't give him a trial. So
You talking
he just hung
about
out with-
job for a cowboy, mask hunter, fishman?
Yeah.
Yes.
Fisherman?
Yeah.
Oh. Yeah, I think I saw a comment that like someone said that dude like will eventually be revealed to be like an anti-witch character. And like
Maybe.
we're gonna have some kind of like antagonist vibes like come from him. Like we're gonna find out that because like it just never came up in conversation because he was talking to another human male.
boy,
That like, you know, it was never established that he was like an anti-witch hating motherfucker, but like that could be like an interesting situation to explore with Ichi's character because obviously Ichi has sentimental value, you know, dedicated to this character as like a guardian or like a father figure like type shit. So then now that he's like been thrust into this witch world and he's on the witch side, if his path crosses with, you know, bone mask fisherman dude again, it could be as like, you know, an opposing force to him, and that would create conflict in his character in a lot of like really interesting ways, I think, if that's the case.
yeah. We need to
Like,
see.
bro, this motherfucker raised me and now I gotta fight him? What the fuck? I thought we was cool.
Yeah, we haven't seen any kind of character, any kind of situation yet where Ichi is like pushed to any kind of limit. We need to see like Ichi, you know, this series probably won't be one where people throw hands, but like, you know, the equivalents of like Luffy, you know, getting knocked down and getting back up and, you know, fucking getting punched in the face and having to suck it up and keep trying to defeat his opponent. We haven't had anything where Ichi has struggled yet. He just kind of moneyed his way through.
Yeah.
Yeah, it'll happen eventually.
Yeah. One thing I was hyped for, and I thought it was gonna lead to Kamugi getting the magic, was when she pulled out that flower. I was like, yes, the garnish.
Oh, we were talking about that
Yeah.
last week.
It's like, fuck yeah, she's got the garnish. It's gonna be hers. And then she loved
Screaming.
with it's the fucking Kisame magic loved Ichi's thing, and I was like, oh
Yup.
no,
Shame.
not a Traffy dub. But yeah, another great chapter, man. You know, Discaris moments, great. She apparently snuck a way to go unfreeze the family while Ichi was fucking chefing. So she's just on her shit.
She's the goat.
The goat for real. A boy witch. But yeah, this chapter, just the way it ends, it was just also just this last page, these last two speech bubbles, or not last speech bubbles, but these last panels. Anyway, Ichi the Witch finished his first mission and acquired the Hisame magic. That to me sounds like it's like Kamugi writing in a journal or something.
Oh.
So I think like Kamugi's kind of like documenting this just for, you know, her own, you know, adventure or whatever.
Hey.
What did she say? Our anti-human magic squad missions, are they all gonna be? And Discards is like, hell no. So Kamugi's already tired of this shit. You know, that kind of submits it like this isn't a one-side thing for her. She's on the squad. Like you're coming on the next mission too, kid.
I love how the last page, when they're all like asking about Ichi being a boy witch and saying he's like, really, that's amazing. And then you just have Kamugi in the background, like just proud of herself. She's like, hey, yeah, I'm with him.
Yeah, I love her, man. I love her character. Yep, got a lot of villagers. Hisame magic acquired. Can't wait to see how that works. You know, if she's gonna be fucking like arguing with Iroro. Iroro was in this chapter too, and what was that, 2-3 pages earlier. Yeah, he's talking about how she went and healed, unfroze the people, and he's like too damn thorough,
Yeah.
whatever. Yeah.
Mm.
Kabuki's just so funny. Yeah, I love this kid. But I think that's gonna be it for me. For was this chapter 10 of Ichi the Witch? What about you, Traffy?
Yeah, I'm all good.
Okay, Weeb
I'm good.
and Knox.
Squeezed.
All right, and that is gonna be it. Ichi the Witch, 10th chapter, 10th hunt. And now we jump into Astro Royale, chapter 29. I'll leave it to you, Traffy. Let's hear your thoughts.
So I have some complaints about the direction that the story is going, and we've been talking about that with the last two chapters. Um, this isn't much of a complaint, but I do want to point out the fact that they're kind of discussing um, what's his name, Himuro, using the androids for his benefits, and you know Hibaru's like, yeah, don't do that, value the lives of your teammates, they're like dedicated to you. And Himuru calls Hibaru a hypocrite without really knowing anything about him, and then you flip like 2 pages, or not 2 pages, but a few pages, where he throws his body to intercept the blast, and he's like, "Oh, you're that type of person." And it's like, you just called him a hypocrite because I guess you assumed he wouldn't do that, but you didn't know anything about him to call him a hypocrite. I don't know.
Yeah, I guess it's just like his. I guess it's just his
Personal
beef
bias.
with. I guess it's just his beef with like the Yakuza in general, and his experience with Yakuza have seen so many of the same kind of person that he
Yeah.
just assumed that Hibaru was just like them until he showed him otherwise. I guess.
Okay,
he's-
yeah.
Well,
Sorry,
Go
go ahead.
I was just gonna say he even says like, I just don't like you. That's it. Like he doesn't care like what Hibaru is like. He doesn't know shit about Hibaru. He doesn't know like who he just knows that he's from a Yakuza family, and it's just like, I just don't fuck with the Yakuza. You're one of them. I gotta fucking get you out of here. I don't care, what you like or what you don't like. You know, me and you might have a lot of fucking similarities, but I just can't fuck
We're
with
not
them.
so different, you and I.
Yeah, it's like,
how many of those we had this episode?
yeah, we got
I'm
a
gonna
lot
say
of
it
this.
every time. Every time I feel it, I'm gonna say it.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
But this chapter, man, I was up until this arc, up until these last 3 chapters, I was really fucking with Astro Royale. But these last 3 chapters then showed me a different level of butt cheek that I wasn't prepared for, man.
Yeah, I mean, hey,
I
okay,
like the
so
ending.
I like the ending. I think it's cool because we were talking about like last chapter. I was like, dude, Kinpa has to beat this motherfucker.
Yeah.
So like, is that decision going to be made at all? And if so, how are they going to present it? And it looks like Ken Wakui made, a choice that we're all, happy about in regard to leaving it up to Kinpa to, to kind of close things out here. So that's cool. But outside of that, like this fight is boring and the dialogue is very basic and boring too.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like it's the same thing that we see in like so many of these shonen stories. Motherfucker pops the perk and then suddenly he's got like a new upgrade to his ability that we hadn't seen before that like turns up the output like a great deal. And now Hibaru doesn't really know how to deal with it. We get the same like fucking platitude style dialogue from the altruistic protagonist. Like, you should care about your people. Can't you see
Yeah.
you're hurting them? Like, why are you, treating them this way? And he's just like, I don't give a fuck because I'm the villain. Scotty's kiss, you know what I mean? And it's just like, okay, like this is so like bare bones and like low key, like lame. Like what happened to the charm and the funk that this series has kind of given us so far. Like in the previous arc, like the dialogue and the action was like on a completely different level than this, and now it seems to kind of like
I think
significantly drop to like a pretty lame level in my opinion.
Yeah.
But yeah, go
Yeah.
ahead.
I think maybe this arc when it started, I think it was mainly supposed to be like an in between for us giving us answers and developing Kingpa. Maybe it wasn't supposed to be like a full on like battle, and maybe the editors were
But
like,
that doesn't mean you have to turn other things off completely to do
no,
that.
it's mainly because
Though.
maybe he didn't really have any real like plans to bring this out to flesh it out originally, and maybe that's
Yeah.
why it feels kind of stiff or whatever. Though I will say, I do have to say one thing. At least we know why he popped the pill at the start of the fight. He knew Rary was gonna get thawed out any second now, so he's like, "Let me get this over with as quickly as I possibly can before she gets thawed out, because she's my
more of the bigger threats.
Yeah,
to
that
me.
makes sense. That makes
Yeah,
That makes
sense.
it
Yeah.
makes a lot more sense
it's
than
still go ahead. My
Yeah.
bad.
Yeah.
yeah. No, I'm saying it makes a lot more sense than him just starting the fight and like I'm gonna do this despite him, probably being able to handle the fight to an extent. But since he was on a timer, he realized he was on a timer. He's like, let me get this over and done with. So
It's still
I'll
just
give it that. It just doesn't, but it still doesn't feel like that's great at the end. Still,
yeah, it still just feels like enough time was not spent on these fights at all. Like this is enough. This fight is like from the like we follow this battle in particular from the end of it. Like dude is already popping his pill. He's already firing his laser. This is my big fucking trump card.
I'm
Like
a charging my laser.
yeah, it's
Return
like
of the
this.
Cyborg.
Yeah, and it's just like, yeah, we know he was on a time crunch, like he had to do this before very thought out, but it's like it's a fucking comic book, bro. Like you could have had 2 or 3 chapters of this fight and just said that 3 minutes went by. Like you don't
Yeah.
have to like, it feels like he's realistically like, oh shit, 8 pages, it's been 6 minutes, we can't take too long here because she's gonna thaw out, bro. Like Namek fucking Namek was blowing up for like fucking 3 months, dog. Like you could have took your time on this.
Yeah,
Like
I
he
think
did not have to.
maybe he just wants to get past this section and like move on with like the rest. Because from what I can tell, I think he was doing better with like telling like the Yakuza side of the story with the siblings going at each other, with the personal dramas between them. And right now with Hakuro, he did a good job by like with tying it to Kinpa. But at this point, it just feels like he's kind of just trying to do this out of like obligation, like a fight. I do hope that like with the Kempa stuff with her taking him on, it ends up being satisfying because it does seem to be like her arc, her her personal growth and stuff like that, and her get back. But
Yeah,
like we all said, like these last like 2.5 chapters have not been that great, and could have been at least a bit longer.
yeah, not been that great as fucking putting it lightly. These shits have been
Hmm.
butt
Hey, look, you're
cheeks.
you're talking to a guy that gives things more of a chance than they should. I gave Promise Neverland season 2 7 episodes before dropping it.
I read this shit
Oh,
start
yeah,
to
why did you
finish.
do that?
But
Yeah.
like I don't know.
I thought they were rearranging the arcs,
Fuck
and then I'm
that.
like, oh no, they didn't. Fuck this.
I normally am pretty positive and optimistic. I'm normally like
Same.
always about, I'm gonna
Yeah.
let them
Trying
cook.
to find what like
Yeah.
good is done rather than
Yeah, it's
focusing
not.
on the bad. But it's like it had so many things going for it that it was doing well in like the first 20-ish chapters in Astro Royale, and it seems like they've turned off some of those things that it was doing so well for the sake of other things that it wants to focus on. And I just don't think that that's like a really good balance to try to strike this early in your series, because if you
Yeah.
had a really promising previous arc that got us all excited for the series, like fully like locked in hooks are in us, like we can't wait to see more, and then you follow it up with something that's like just weaker in every regard that made those previous chapters good. It's like that's not
Yeah.
a good idea.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think I said something like this similarly, like earlier on around the time when we got Himuro like jumping onto this arc in the introduction of the artificial asteroids. Like it felt like too early to introduce some of this stuff. To at least to an extent, like it feels like we like went into this a bit too quickly. We could have had like at least one more arc to ease our way into it.
Yeah, I think it's fine to introduce the concept this early if you're going to, have more things that you're going to add to it later or throughout the series that'll add more depth to it. I think that that's totally fine, but there was just like nothing else interesting going alongside of this concept outside of like Himuro's character that really like makes me like give a fuck or whatever.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
yeah, but something that I wanted to point out from the last episode's conversation that I didn't notice until I saw a comment in our comment section is that we were kind of talking about So's backstory, um, and how like she has this like abusive like drug dealer dad, and I think Yato made a comment about how like he was like beating on her or something like that, and it was like, oh yeah, he probably beats her up because she like got too close to his weed or something like that. But it's actually
Yeah.
it's actually a lot more
Dark.
It's actually a lot more dark than that. Yeah, a lot darker than that because, as someone pointed out in our comment section, I can't remember who exactly right now, but they said that, it seems like there was like a show don't tell moment that kind of like went unnoticed in the art by us, where it was implied that So's father was like sexually assaulting her because like it showed her like clothes like tattered up and like she was like holding her shoulders and she was like shaking and like had like tears in her eyes. But then in the next panel it showed her dad like pulling his pants up with like a 40 ounce in his hand or something like that. And it's like
Jesus.
if that, yeah, like if that's the case and that's what's going on there and that's what's being communicated or whatever in the art, then that makes me like want to like pay closer attention to the art in Astro Royale, because that was something that definitely was not explicitly stated and it was kind of just shown, you know what I mean? And that adds like, another layer of pathos to So's character, because like that's kind of like a really big deal to depict like, an implication like that or whatever for like a young child early
Yeah.
on in one of these like weekly Shonen Jump stories or whatever. So I feel like that's, I don't want to call it a risk or whatever being taken, but it's just definitely like a very bold like thing to do, I want to say, in a weekly Shonen Jump series specifically, because I can't remember like too many, especially in like the newer batch and this newer era of weekly Shonen Jump stories. I don't know if I remember a time where they kind of like went there this early in one of these narratives, but like that definitely has me like, revisiting like my thoughts and on like at least this arc in the last couple of chapters that we've been complaining about or whatever, because it's like if you're doing shit like that, it's like, oh shit, like if we're not noticing that, it's like, oh man, like there's a lot more going on here than I thought or whatever originally.
Yeah, it's
But
Yeah.
possible.
yeah,
Yeah. So, I mean, regardless, it is nice to know that there's some stuff in there that we could double back and see to like better appreciate like some thought going into the characters, even if it's not outright stated. Though I think we also kind of agree that at least this portion of the arc with the actual fights, it's not hitting as much
Yeah,
as it should.
yeah,
And who knows, maybe it's just one of those times where like the author just didn't really have anything going into it in terms of like, I don't know, maybe just one of those rare misses that a mangaka has. Like sometimes there's just an arc that has like a strong start, but has some low weak points in it that are just not that great. But maybe based off the end of this chapter, it might at least end off strong.
yeah, and it's like I feel like this would have just like last chapter I said it just would have felt better if the fight just lasted another chapter or something. Like all these fights would have benefited from being
A
1 to
chapter
2
longer.
chapters longer. But like this also probably would have felt better if like they weren't the initial antagonists. Like maybe the crew, the main character squad got here and like there were some other bad guys to deal with, and like as they were dealing with them, fucking Himuro and his crew, popped up and was like, okay, you guys are already weak. I fucking hate you, you scoundrels, and I'm here to clean you up or whatever. But just like having them be the antagonist of the arc, but also like not giving them enough just felt weird, man. It just I hate how we got the muscle dude and he's out from one fucking German suplex, and then we get the girl and she's got this great backstory, but she the only thing we see her do is throw some whirlwinds at a shield and then OD, and then this guy the boss or whatever, he starts the fight popping a pill going into his big mode and he's firing fucking cannons and like fucking 2 panels of him firing ice cannons. He like, oh yeah, I gotta go somewhere, bro. And then like that somewhere is just upstairs to go refreeze the chick, and it's like main character somehow catches up and like jumps in the way of the ice. It's just it feels like there should have been more like with everything. Like nobody actually has any scars on them for real. I mean, the main character does. Fucking bro, Hibari. What's the main character
Ibaru,
name? Hibaru has more scars on him from. We haven't seen Himuro like beat his ass or nothing, but he's got more scars on
he's
him
got
than the
crazy damage
bro.
piled up. Yeah,
He's got
It
more
was
scars and damage on him than the Twink Kid did after getting fucking pal drivered. Like,
yeah, and drop kicked and power
yeah,
bombed and German suplexed and fucking drowned.
yeah. Like, what
Yeah.
we haven't seen Hibaru get like hit with no haymakers or nothing. He's just dirty. You're like, why has he got all these scars?
The
yeah.
ice, maybe it's
Yeah,
ice damage.
maybe since they're asteroids, they have like more durability. I mean, at least
Bruh.
with
Could be
Kuren,
frostbite.
he can like at least with Kuren, he can like change change how his body is to
Yeah,
at least soften the blows on himself.
yeah.
But at least
There's
that's what we've shown with how he transforms into like an octopus to maneuver around the guy.
this arc just really felt like a fucking it could have been more, man. It could have been great, and it just
Yeah.
it could end good, you know. Like
Yeah.
I guess the goal is to just like make sure that Kempa gets her thing, and it's like, yeah, I'm happy with that. I'm happy to see Kempa, you know, get her dub. But I feel like she's not even gonna like be like she's gonna probably punch him in the face or something, but he's still gonna get out of here. Like I don't see uh bad guy like just dying here. Like he's clear, he's still got stuff to do in the story. I mean, he took Terrazano or whatever, the big dude with the fucking glove asteroid or whatever. So it's like he can't die here, right? Like it feels weird. It's like she's gonna get a small dub over him temporarily, but he's still gonna get out of here. Um, I don't know. I was definitely like when we went back to her, I was like, okay, so we're about to see like I think it was Unox said she might do some kitty prod shit. So I was like, okay, we're about to see some elevation, some evolution of her power, see how it
That'd
goes.
be tight, dude.
Yeah,
Great.
like
And
we
it's
gotta
like such a it feels so good as like the next stage of her ability going
yeah.
from invisibility to intangibility too. I think that would be an amazing decision.
It'd also be really cool if like she was the first one in this group to actually have like a power up to her ability. It'd be a very interesting like turn of events. That it also shows that Astros can be like upgraded or at least grown to be stronger without the aid of like those pills or stimulus
Yeah.
artificially.
I
So that'd be a
will
really nice way.
I will say that the what's it called? The bolt cutters, that feels like a Chekhov's gun.
Oh yeah,
So like she was smacking the ice with the bolt cutters, right? Like that's what she was
Yeah.
yeah.
doing.
And
At
then it
first,
flew out of her hand.
yeah, when I saw that, I was like, did that like I didn't know what she was doing on the pad on the right. And then like when I saw the bolt cutters, I was like, where did that come from? Did somebody just drop that for her? Like, here you go, kid. Like I was like, where did that come
You
from?
must
So I
have just
guess
like found them like on the
Probably
way,
just
like
found them
in the
lying
room
around
or
to try and
around
break her
somewhere.
out while they were
Yeah.
fighting.
yeah. So I mean, and
But
she hit it and it bounced out of her hand or something.
yeah, I feel like just how much focus they're putting on it. It's a Chekhov's gun, and she's gonna like go invisible and just smack him in the face with it.
Yeah.
I could fuck with that.
Oh, oh!
Yeah, that'd be ice water.
Imagine she sticks that into his ice cannon arm and it just blows up.
Ooh, I like that.
Oh
She
yeah.
cuts off
I
his
love that.
dangly bits.
Uh-oh.
Hey yo, she needs to do that to So's dad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, he's
yeah,
he's
well,
kind
Oh
of
yeah, he got his fucking brains
Yeah.
blown up. I forgot
he's
about that.
he's the Walking Dead now. Yeah.
Also, if she does do that, that would also give an excuse to potentially him, not also like potentially having to leave like his arms fucked up, his astros potentially destroyed. He has to get the fuck out of there. Maybe he has to become an artificial one, or maybe the government found a way to find a way to repair it. Who knows? But it'd be a good way to get him out of this arc and bring him back into the story at a later point, maybe more powerful or something like
Yeah.
that. And
Yeah.
Kimpa gets a win.
I'm all for the Kenwakui somehow salvaging this arc because like the shit was cooking and then the fire went
Yeah.
out. I don't know what the fuck is happening.
I think if he ends it good, it'll kind of make up for these last 3 chapters because the beginning of the arc was solid, and then we
Yeah.
hit these 3, and then if the ending's good, that makes it a little bit easier to excuse this rough patch of 3 chapters.
Yeah.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, it is only like 3 chapters in a row that we
Yeah.
have like these huge problems with. So I mean, like, a couple bad apples don't spoil the bunch or whatever,
Yeah.
unless it's cops. But yeah, so
Yeah. Let Kempa get a good dub, have it be satisfying, and then let's get back to the drawing board for this next arc and make some fucking real money. Yeah.
yeah, let's
Yeah.
lock back in after this.
Yeah,
Mhm.
fucking let's get it. But I think I'm all out of shit to say for chapter 29 of Astro Royale. What about you, Knox?
I think I'm squeezy.
Traffy?
I'm skeety.
Weep.
I'm all good.
All right, and that's gonna do it for Astro Royale chapter 29. I'll leave it to you. And now jumping into our final segments of the night, we will be talking about Kagurabachi, chapter 57, Collapse. We take it away.
This was a really interesting chapter, I'm not gonna lie. Out of the utter hype of last week, we actually got some bit of cooldown before getting a pretty interesting twist towards the end of the chapter, with some pretty interesting choices of dialogue if we really pay attention to it, spoiling how things end for this chapter. But I will say, uh, cutting back to Chihiro and his conversation, going back and forth between these two characters, was definitely one of the more fun dynamics I've had for this arc so far. Still a bit unnerving, but also just showcases the crazy.
I
And
don't
Yeah.
want to I don't want to say it, but
Man,
I was right.
nope. Nah.
no, this is even worse. He didn't die, but he's a fucking traitor.
But I was still right.
Nah, he's
But
still
you
getting
still lose.
No, I win.
his.
and they're about to murder this nigga for his fucking.
I mean, technically, I was right for there potentially being a traitor, just not who.
So, so I wonder, like, was there a reason that you said that, or was it like hinted at? Like, was that just a hunch, or was there some sort of? I can't remember if there was ever a hint of there being a trade. I feel like, yeah, you
I
said
think
it.
we were like talking
s-
about like
we were talking-
ways that the conflict could evolve to like kind of like put a twist on things because of
Okay.
how
Like they
because of how
say
good
these
things
guys-
have because of how good things have been going for the protagonist. We knew that something had to happen, and we were discussing like the different ways that that twist could manifest in the story.
Like
Okay.
my thing was that they literally stated the Hishaku were focusing all of their forces for this attack onto this one fortress, leaving the other two seemingly fine. So a good twist would be if there was like a traitor or a brainwashing or something that the other sword bearers would get killed while Uraha and Samura would be saved.
Yeah, and the way that it kind
That
of
wasn't
like
the case.
shows the way that it kind of shows inside of Samura's character, kind of coming to terms with the facts that or with the idea that these swords, regardless of how they use them to bring about peace and to save people or whatever in this war that happened before the story started, regardless of all of that, like the swords themselves are just like too destructive and too powerful and too, dangerous, to just exist in the first place. So like all of the sword bearers gotta die, I guess, is like the idea that's kind of being explored here inside of Samura's, motivation or whatever. It's like, yeah, we did good things with these swords, but like just look at the Shinuchi, dude. Like these things like can't
I
continue
love
to exist, and that's like really
Yeah.
interesting. Yeah.
I love how we were literally getting the build up to Chihiro just fully realizing that, oh wait, maybe it wasn't the sword that was the problem right now. But when they were fighting what was his
Kiora.
name?
Kiora.
Kiora.
Jora, yes. At the Rakuzaichi. It was like this is this power every time my dad would mention this sword or the sword master, he would always say it in such an offhanded way. Like it should never be used again. And he
Yeah, like
slowly comes to the
these
realization
swords are
that
fucked up, dude. Like,
yeah.
why do they have the abilities that they have? And it's like it
Yeah.
coming from, someone who brandished these tools, and spent so much time with them. Like we see in sword stories all the time. Specifically, I want to say it happens more in stories about swords than anything else, about how these things become extensions of the person who wields them, and you have this very intimate relationship with the weapon that, allows you to have like such a deep understanding of them, on a level that someone who doesn't regularly wield them, would never have any kind of chance of having. So it's cool to explore that in a character like Samura, that just has like this huge guilt tied to, the power that these swords have and what it means for the future of society to let swords with powers like these that are just so destructive and sinister and like low, and the potential for evil inside of them is just like a guilt and like a weight that kind of like corrupted his moral compass in a way to where he's like, we just gotta fucking kill like all of we all have to die or something like that,
Yeah.
or whatever he's trying to say now is just like really heavy and really interesting to explore.
I like how this, if you kind of read into the deeper context of the story, it's somewhat similar to like Godzilla, for example, in the sense that the weapons are weapons of mass destruction, and so in this sense, you could equate Kunishige as Oppenheimer.
Yeah, no, I was literally just about to bring up Oppenheimer too. Yeah.
Hmm.
It, one brain cell shared, but
Literally.
Yeah.
but I do like the way that the story is trying to, go into details about that, because it is interesting regardless of everything happening around it.
Yeah, and I'm just like a really big fan of allegory like that. You know what I mean? Like Gojira, Oppenheimer. Like if you're putting that kind of writing into a unique story about like sword crafting and shit like that, it's just like you're speaking like directly to me in
Yeah.
so many ways with Kagurabachi right now. I just fucking love that it's here in the magazine. It's like
I
so good for like post JJK
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
shonen landscape. Yeah.
I
good-
will
a good,
say on page 5, when the little kid, don't remember his name, says we have Mr. Samura armed with Toby Mune.
Yeah.
That kind of triggered the red flag. Like, I was just about ready to agree with y'all, but that was preemptive to what was coming at the end of this chapter.
He's literally still dying though, bro. Like, come on.
As
Like
he's
now
gotta
we
go.
have a reason to just kill this nigga.
Yeah, but I
It's
don't
not
think
it's not about
also-
him dying in this fight anymore. Now it's like, okay, you killed Uraha off screen. You're going in the ground, buddy.
Don't
Sorry.
shift the goalpost. Y'all were saying he was dying in this fight.
So I got something to say to that, but I'm gonna spin the block to it because I still think that there's still fucking gas in that tank. But something
Oh.
I wanted to talk about first was they mentioned the sword master, and I had never realized it before. I want to go back and reread and see if they always like when they say sword master, I always just thought it was just referring to all of the people who wielded the swords, but they are specifically calling Shinuchi's user the sword master, and everyone else was like sword bearers, like he was the guy and they were just dudes who like picked up the blades and they used them, they were skilled with them, but like
Oh,
I
am I
thought every
stupid? Oh, I thought the Swordmaster was fucking Rokuhira for some reason.
No,
I'm,
no, they're
it's
talking
I'm
about
an
dude.
idiot. Yeah, they're talking about the Shinuchi's wielder, right?
Yeah.
Also,
And
something I
Oh.
think this chapter is implying is that the nature of the swords and their abilities are primarily like created based off of who they're contracted with initially, like as they're created.
Oh, that's cool. I like that.
Based off the visuals of what's going on, I feel like that's what it's going off of.
Okay,
From
I
what
can
we've
see
seen.
that. Yeah, I can see that for sure. But I think I interrupted Yato to say what I said, so I
Oh.
want Yato to finish that thought.
Oh yeah.
yeah, just
My
that they're talking about the sword master led the other 5 sword bearers, and it's like this one dude, like this whole time I thought everyone was referred to as the sword master because they were masters of their sword. So I gotta go back and reread and see like if this particular verbiage has been used specifically in other cases or if everyone has always just been referred to as sword bearers, because like Hirohiko is, saying it like, the sword master has shook up things like so much that like we can't allow this dude to be around and like none of us deserve to like live at all. So it's like I want to see what he was about, but like just having him as like the boss. I mean, yeah, they said it was the strongest sword, but like they kind of glazing him pretty heavily in here.
Yep.
It wasn't
Yeah.
Shinuchi itself that was out of control, but the sword master. It's like his will is what was taken over, not just the sword. Is crazy.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and I love this conversation with Hirohiko and Chihiro leading into the reveal of dead Uraha, supposedly, or whatever,
And
is just
Samura's
like so
betrayal.
good. Yeah, because they're just like, Hirohiko's like, yeah, that's why Yura said that you're too green, bro. And you know, the look of like realization on Chihiro's face as he remembers, you know, Yura saying like you're still too green to harvest. It's like, dude, you were this nigga's son and you have no idea like what this enchanted blade shit really means for the people who had to wield them in this war, bro. Like there's such a crazy like psychological like aspect to being, you know, a wielder of these swords with these powers that weighed on these people's consciousnesses in a way that could defect a character like Samura into thinking like, dude, we all just have to die. Like that is such a crazy concept and idea to introduce into the story, you know, especially from Chihiro's perspective, who we assume is like the closest to the proper ideology like on these swords. And that's why the Sojo arc went the way that it did. It's like, yo, these swords are here to help people. And Sojo's like, no, obviously they were made to fucking like kill people brutally, you know what I mean? So like let's do that instead. And like that was like what made their dynamic so interesting, is the different philosophies on how these swords should be used. And even, you know, us as the audience going like, well, obviously it's what Chihiro's saying, but then to for us to realize that Chihiro is actually really wrong about this, and coming from the perspective of the people who actually had to use these swords in this war, to know that their ideology is like actually this like third option that is like starkly different than Chihiro or Sojo's outlook on the swords, just like brings such a crazy level of depth to the whole situation that is just so needed right now in the story.
It almost feels like I remember a couple chapters ago I was saying like, what if what if the Hishaku suddenly got a character, like they kidnapped an old man who was a good blacksmith and kind of forced him, you know, kidnapped his family or something and forced him to make swords. But it feels like Kunishige might have been the one in that kind of situation, actually, because of the way he talks about these swords and stuff. Like, yeah, he was a blacksmith and he probably loved what he did, but he probably didn't create these swords specifically. Like, I got to reread, but he probably didn't create these swords specifically, like willingly, like something that he wanted to do with the intent of like having this whole war thing. Like, I feel like now, you know, looking at how everybody like treats these swords and how they look at him, like maybe he was forced to do it. But like whenever Chihiro came around, it was like, Dad, what's up? And he's like, yeah, man, just working on this awesome sword, you know, it's super cool as fuck. But like when Chihiro go away, he's like, bro, this is not good. Like I
Yeah,
shouldn't be doing this.
I think it's a matter of like Roku Hira like having a breakthrough in his swordsmithing, that, you know, where he realized like, oh shit, I can fucking make swords with cool powers. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? Like, oh, this is like really interesting. Like obviously he's a passionate swordsmith, so he's going to explore that avenue to the best of his ability because of how passionate he is in the subject. But then once that concept kind of got away from him and realized that that power could kind of you know, manifest itself outside of his expectations, you know, like, you know, because from his perspective he's just like, oh shit, okay, I can do this, so wait, I can make the sword. And just like what Weeb was saying, where it's like the way that I craft it, and whoever like comes into contract with the sword, an ability will manifest based on the personality of that wielder. That's
Yeah.
so fucking cool, and that's going to be so helpful in this war that we're going to be going into. This is great, everything is awesome, we're really going to win this thing and everything's going to be all good. And then when the abilities finally started manifesting themselves,
especially the
he
Shinuchi.
yeah, especially the Shinuchi, he was like, okay, wait a minute, this isn't what I like was expecting, and this is out of my control now, and it's actually really bad. Like we're still going to fight this war, but like I wasn't expecting things to develop this way. And he feels that like sense of you know, guilt, because he's like literally the Oppenheimer who set this whole thing into motion, and it got out of his hands
Yeah.
and ran so far away from his initial expectations. And now he's got like a crazy new level of blood on his hands that he wasn't expecting originally, you know, because of course he always knew that the swords were going to be used to kill other people, and he probably wasn't cool
Right.
with that. But just like the level of like weight that is going to be you know, bearing down on the sword wielders after the fact was also another thing that he wasn't expecting, because he didn't think that the powers were going to manifest themselves in such sinister ways. So it's like, holy fuck, this shit is getting so deep right now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Oh
then
my
I
god,
can
let
see.
me
Then
Go ahead.
Chihiro unraveling like everything that he knew, confronting Hirohiko, and Hirohiko just casually mentioning that Samura made a pact with Yura 3 years ago.
Yeah.
That was when they killed Chihiro's dad. But
Exactly.
I think
Yeah, Traffy, what were you going to
Traffy.
say though?
oh my god, let me get that Kunishige I am become death line. Just show it to me.
Literally, like, give him the dialogue. I don't care how cheesy it is. I need the panel. It's going in my pinned.
Yeah. I feel like this is another just situation where like they took this power and they knew that they were doing some fucked up shit, but it's the winners are the ones who write history, so they just tell everybody that they were heroes, and it's like you guys aren't victims of the Hishaku every day. This war is over, but like we the heroes, they fucking ended the war, but they did it very brutally, and like that part is probably left out of the history books.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, it's kind of like I feel like a lot of stories have maybe tried to do this, but I can't help but think about like the flashback scene in like Watchmen when Dr. Manhattan and the comedian are like in that bar like during like the Vietnam War or whatever. And it's like, yeah, we had to fucking kill, those guys in Nam, but like, did we really have to kill those children? And did we really have to like rape those women? You know what I mean? Like, but it was fucking war. You know what I mean? Like, it's chaotic and crazy, and you do things that you're not expecting to do, and or that you encounter circumstances that force certain decisions out of you that like are really hard to explain, and like you just don't know until you've been there, like and experience that kind of scenario, like kind of thing. And I just couldn't help but think about like Watchmen in that way. It's like there's probably so many like crazy scenes that could be shown from that war flashback in Kagurabachi if we ever do get that, or
We
if
need it.
yeah,
So
Hokuzono decides to show exactly like what that means on like the winners write the history and like the shit that can come from that kind of thing. But yeah.
Yeah.
so
Just like what Doflamingo said.
follow my train of thought here, right? So we know Hokuzono is a movie buff, right?
Mhm.
Yeah.
Kagurabachi started in September 2023, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know what came out July 2023?
Mm.
What?
Oppenheimer.
Deadpool and Wolverine.
Oh
Oppenheimer.
shit.
What if this was just like he watched it and he was like, I want to draw a story involving the themes from that movie.
Yeah,
can
he
see
just
it.
like he just like watches fucking Seven Samurai, and then he's like, "Oh, Oppenheimer's out. I'll go peep that." And like, wait a minute, the light bulb goes off. He's like, "I got the next big hit."
That'd be
Yeah.
hilarious. If
I
that
can
was
see
true.
it. Yeah, we
I'd
need
love
that
that.
interview. Yeah, but
Yo.
this chapter was crazy, man. And like so I mean, we don't see what is believed to be a betrayal. Like it could still be, it's set up to be, like a betrayal. He killed Uraha himself. But we still could get like some shit where like he got shot in the back or something.
I
Uraha
would
caught.
love that, because that would mean that Snooty is wrong. And if Snooty
That's
is
always good.
wrong, then that's always a good thing. And if
Yeah.
it turns out that Samura is really Tosin, then I'm going to have to drop Kagurabachi, unfortunately. And you guys are going to have to
Same.
do this segment without me. But we'll see what happens.
Yeah,
I
I
do
mean,
gotta say,
Fingers crossed.
it's
I
it's
lo-
it's go ahead.
no, you go. Sorry.
It's unlikely, but I can see a case where it's like the next chapter. They're leading it so that Chihiro, Hirohiko is feeding Chihiro stuff to cloud his mind and make him, doubt Samura and stuff. And it's like we finally pay him back, and it's like Samura didn't cut his head off, but he got stabbed through the heart by a tree root or something, and Samura is like actually breaking down or whatever. But most likely, it looks like he probably killed him, which is crazy.
That's what it's supposed to look like, though. It
Yeah.
could
Yeah.
definitely be what you're saying, and then it could be like a twist on the setup of this chapter, which would be a really interesting situation to kind of like, because then it's like, oh yeah, it makes so much sense that Hirohiko is like breaking down Chihiro psychologically with like his dialogue, and we could find out that like, yeah, Samura did make that pact with Yura, but then kind of changed his mind later
Yeah.
because of like moral compass reasons. And he's like, dude, I can't fucking kill my boy like that. Like I might have had all of this like guilt pressuring me to make this decision 3 years ago or whatever, but like after having my like bodyguard ninja squad like come into my life and like give me a newfound like lease on things, like I've decided that that decision that I made in a time of like duress and like self-doubt just like isn't worth it anymore, and I changed my mind, and fuck Yura. You know what I mean? That would be
Yeah, and
crazy writing to get.
Yeah.
And it's like he
possible.
also trains Chihiro afterwards. So like he made the pact
Yeah.
with Yura. They probably had some like plan or whatever. He probably told them like how to find Kunishige and how to kill him the perfect time. And then after that, Dad's dead, and this is 3 years ago, which is when the pact was made. So Dad's killed, And now, fucking Shiba brings Chihiro to Samura to be trained, and Samura didn't have to do it. So yeah, maybe seeing the kid and seeing that he wants to go down this path of revenge, and maybe seeing that fucking Chihiro wants to do things the right way. He wants to do not tarnish his father's name. Maybe he has a change of heart 2 years ago, and so he's not the same Samura that he was 3 years ago when he made that pact, and changed his mind. And so I could see that happening. I mean, it's a cliffhanger for a reason. It's supposed to make you think that he betrayed him.
I do think maybe the training was before, like, his dad was killed.
Was it
Based
not?
off of how things are, I'm pretty sure that's how things were presented in the chapter.
I may
But
flip
because
through.
Chihiro didn't have his scar or anything. But
I
I
don't see
will
no
say
reason for him to
it's
train
possible.
him.
You're right. No, it's possible. But then again, after what happened, how would he meet up with Samura if they were all stuck in the fortresses for all that time? Because they're supposed to be locked in those fortresses, protected for those 3 years to ensure their safety. Like Urahad never left, the Swordbearers never left, and Kabanami didn't know Chihiro existed.
Yeah, I'm flipping through. Yeah, Shiba brought Chihiro to meet Dude Man. After just watching me once, he's got the Rokuhiro eyes. He'll learn swordsman from you. He's still too young. Yeah, I think it happened after, because this is like when Chihiro was learning how to use the blade, and I don't think he would have wanted to. Because at first he wanted to be a blacksmith. He didn't. I don't think he ever wanted to be a swordsman until his father was killed. So
Yeah, no, I know. I'm just saying it just doesn't seem possible for him to be trained by Samura based off the situation that he's in after his dad's death. It just doesn't seem all that possible, even with Shiba's, teleportation. And it's assumed that Samura hasn't seen Chihiro in years, so I'm just going off that.
unless he brought him to the place where he was or whatever. I don't know.
Maybe, I don't know.
I
But
think I think he could have had a change of heart, and he
possibly.
not be the same guy.
Maybe. Though I will say this, it would be interesting if we had an Itachi situation. Like Samura made that pact, but after meeting Chihiro, he changed it to be kill Samura, take whatever blades you got, just leave the kid alive. Because
Yeah.
even the leader admitted to leaving Chihiro alive. Granted, it was to see how he'd grow, but he didn't have to.
Yeah, it's gonna be interesting to see where all this goes. But to come back, I said I would spin the block, and we gotta come back to it. Samura can still die. Here
Yeah.
actually, because in this final page, we got Hirohiko doing the Zoro style. He pulling out the sword with his teeth. But to the left of that, you see Chihiro and those blubs. That's Hakuri shit. So Hakuri could just straight teleport Chihiro out of here, straight to where they are, to be like, "Yo, get here right now." And Chihiro gets there. He sees Samura has done the fucking deed, and then either Chihiro cuts him down, or Samura's like, "I can't live with this shit anymore. Kill me, Chihiro," type shit.
Yo.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So my only issue with that is,
That Samura would die, and we know you don't want that. Okay,
no,
moving on.
shoot, what's his name?
Hirohiko.
No, teleporty dude.
Oh, Hakuri.
Hakuri.
Yeah.
Agree.
He is like one sneeze away from a brain aneurysm. How is he going to
Literally.
teleport a whole ass person?
I mean,
That's what he's loading up right now with the
yeah,
blubs.
the blubs are on
his limits.
like he was told not to do it no more. But if you see the guy that you're supposed to be protecting suddenly start killing another guy that you're supposed to be protected,
You're gonna bring Chihiro in.
Yeah, that's the moment where you would be like, "Fuck it, bro." Even if my brain explode, Chihiro gotta at least get here to see this, because what's to Hakuri, if Samura kills Uraha, I mean, to him, he's probably thinking yeah, he's gonna kill me next. He can't, Samura's not about to let all of us walk out of here just because fucking Uraha's dead. I'm probably next, so I gotta get dude here.
Yeah. That's fair.
Yeah. Ooh, can I just mention one thing that I found that might be reaching?
No,
with
you
this?
can't.
It has nothing to do with the chapter,
in terms of its plot. I'm just talking about the title drop towards
Okay.
latter portions.
Yeah, go
Just
ahead.
reminded me of Bleach, like relating to the context of the chapter, then drop the title card at a later point, and then just move on.
I mean,
It just
yeah,
felt very Bleach.
I can see that. It happens in manga sometimes where they drop the title in the middle, or My
Yeah, I
Heroes
feel
have
like that
that
happens in so
at the
many
end.
things.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I don't know. I always associated with how Bleach does it a lot of the
Sure.
times,
Yeah.
with how they time it.
Get Titty Kubo off
That's
the
me.
brain.
You're right. You're right.
But
Don't
yeah,
you
this
insult
is a
Kubo.
good chapter.
Really good one.
Especially the parts with Hirohiko and fucking Chihiro. Chihiro just
This is
It's like
constantly.
this is one of the most important chapters like that have come out in the entire series so
Oh,
far.
100%.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like this
He's
is like top 3
constantly,
chapter. Yeah.
constantly getting
Chihiro's
his
going
like
through a lot.
his reality like shaken and shit, and just learning like shit isn't the way I thought it was. And nobody ever really told me the real, nobody really kept it real. Like they told me, fucking these dudes killed your dad or whatever. We'll help you do it, Sheba. Maybe does Sheba know like all this stuff? Like maybe he doesn't, maybe Sheba doesn't know about the fucking pact or whatever. But just it just feels like Chihiro is just constantly finding out stuff that it's just
Was kept from him.
yeah, and just
Yeah.
completely shakes everything that he thinks and believes, and it's just like, how do you keep going on? Yeah,
Shaking the
This is actually
foundation.
perfect timing. This is perfect
Yeah.
timing after everything that happened with Sojo and the Rakuzaichi, and basically trying to join the Kabanabi. Everything was going right, but also he was firm in his resolve and his ideology. And now in this arc, he is fully coming to grips with, I'm probably I might be wrong.
yeah.
Everything I knew was probably a lie, or at least not the full truth.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
think
so-
before he never like considered being wrong. It was just like, I know my dad,
Yeah.
but now it's like, all right, this shit. There's too many fucking coincidences, bro.
Yeah.
It's perfect.
Yeah, fucking Hirohiko grabbing the blade with his teeth. I was not expecting that. That was dope, and fucking throwing his arm at your hero so he could bounce.
That was
Kid,
smart.
the kid's scrappy. He's got the juice, but like, the
Very
fuck is he about to
mojito
do?
coated.
Yeah, what the fuck is he
Mhm.
about to do with these fucking two ladies? Yeah, what are they called? Fucking
Geishas.
yeah, that
Geishas,
yeah.
I think.
They about to play a song of death for his ass. Yeah.
Oh,
Some
I can
shit.
just hear the OST like shamisen strings just being plucked right now.
Yeah,
Appa-
it's just
Apparently, there are rumors that Kagurabachi is already getting planned to get an anime already.
I
They've been
mean,
saying that since chapter 1 though.
yeah,
So
it's one
No,
of
but
those things.
it's been like a lot more frequently and from like relatively legitimate sources. Apparently,
I just feel like
all that
people that
legitimate
it's
sources
too
stuff
soon,
don't.
but
Yeah, like we need
yeah,
it's way too soon.
the official confirmation. I don't care about
yeah,
Yeah.
I see
quote
that shit
unquote
and
legitimate sources. There's been
I
too many fakes. Yeah.
yeah, I call all
Yeah.
that shit like fucking weathermen. It's like, of course, yeah. If I tell you it's gonna fucking be sunny next week, like yeah, like duh. So like
Mhm.
anybody coming out and being like, confirmed the most popular manga out right now is getting an anime, but they don't
It's
give a
like,
date. It's
yeah,
like, well,
eventually it
yeah,
will.
no shit. And it's
Cool.
like it happens 3 years later. They be like, I told you. It's like, no, brother. Anybody could have fucking said that. It was the most popular fucking thing at the time. Of course, it's getting an
Yeah.
anime. It's like if
Right.
you don't show me a fucking promo art or a trailer or something, I
Oh
don't give a fuck
shit. A
how many
studio
fucking pages.
announcement. Yeah.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
something,
But yeah,
bro.
Kagurabachi's manga still sells super well. Like I
Yeah.
think last month, like all 4 of its volumes were in the top like 50 best-selling volumes of the month consistently,
Yeah,
which
it's
was
doing its thing, man.
crazy. Really
57
good.
chapters. We got a banger. If anybody's not reading this, they're kind of just fucking up and
Missing
missing
out.
out a lot. So
Get your
Mhm.
life together.
yeah. Of course, those people
Yeah.
wouldn't hear this because they, people that are hearing this are reading Kagurabachi.
That's why we're talking so much shit behind their
yeah.
backs. No.
Yeah, the hell with those losers. But yeah, it's just this whole situation is interesting. It's just there was the 2 times where Samura, it feels like it's being set up to make you believe that he did it, but he didn't, and some other possible like thing happened to Uraha, because it's like you had the part where he cut off Uraha's ponytail by mistake, and it's like, oops, almost beheaded him. And then like I think last chapter Samura like slashed at Uraha like while they were still doing their thing, and Uraha blocked it. It was like, oops, I didn't see you there, Uraha or whatever, and now he's dead. It's like
Yeah.
the third time he actually does die after we saw him fail to kill him, twice. He could have had it as a mistake, but it's like this time he's
Yeah.
like, nah, this time there's no fighting or whatever, and he's like, no, unfortunately, this is just the start. So like, does he just fucking whip the blade out, fucking link up B on the ground and spin and cut his head off here? Like, is that what happened?
Yo,
like,
the link up B.
yeah, it's like I want to know like what else happens. Like they're probably not going to show us unless Chihiro gets teleported here. They're probably not going to show us what's happening at Samura's place for like 2 or 3 chapters. I could see him dragging that shit out and having Chihiro versus Hirohiko last a couple chapters, and then we find out just to fucking blue ball us and fucking find out what the fuck is happening later.
Wait, hold
Yeah.
on. Okay, so what if you guys are right? Okay, and Samura dies. What
We are.
if?
I like that.
Hold on. What if what we're kind of anticipating for the next chapter is that Samura does something to transfer the power to Uraha, so he's now the owner of that blade, which like voids his contract, which is what makes his sword usable.
I like
I
that.
wonder how that
That'd
would
be
work
interesting,
mechanically.
though.
Yeah.
They have to find. It has to make. At the end of the day, it has to make sense because they said the only way to break the eternal contract is if they die.
Yeah, but like,
But
kill
I'm
him.
curious to see.
He could stab himself with the sword and be like, this sword that's in my belly is yours now. But the real issue is like, can you? Yeah, you can be contracted with 2 because Chihiro had fucking Insane and Cloud Gouges, so never mind. So you
Yeah.
can do whatever the fuck you want. Yeah, that
Oh,
could
so you're
work.
Oh,
saying like
then
Samura
okay.
boomed himself to void his contract
So
with
that Uraha
Toby
can use
Mune, then he passes ownership of Toby Mune to Uraha, which then voids Uraha's contract with Kameyuri?
Yeah,
Or
but
Kumeyuri? Wait, no,
what?
that's not how that would work because
Yeah.
Chihiro had 2 contracts.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Well,
never mind.
Whoa, wait. So we didn't see Chihiro use Inten and Cloud Gouger at the same time. He pulled up to the Rakuzachi with Cloud Gouger. So maybe
True, but it was still contracted with N10.
Yeah.
yeah, I don't know. I like it. I wanted to work somehow, but I don't know if it
Now,
will.
I don't, because
Oh.
that wouldn't make sense and would be dumb.
Meh.
Yeah. I don't know. I just yeah, it's just like how the Kami Yuri, man, Uraha's got to be out of there.
He dead, boy.
Yeah, but it's like bro had bought 2 swords. Like he was flying both of those swords there. So the plan was for Samura to die too. Like fucking Hakuri wasn't part of fucking Hirohiko's plans,
Right.
So it's a lot of like plans getting fucked up and finding out truths and plans, going according to plan, and it's a lot going on.
Great tension.
Yeah.
It's real. So
hmm
next chapter, we probably gonna get some answers, but I can definitely see them dragging this out and fucking, like I said, blue balling the fuck out of us for a minute. Like y'all gonna wait for this shit. Like you ain't gonna find out what fucking Vegapunk look like for 900 chapters. Goddamn it, we about to get one of them. But yeah, the sword master, man. I can't wait to see more, and I got to keep my eyes out for that like terminology now because I always just thought everyone was a sword master, but nope, the sword master led the 5 sword bearers, and they were the fucking superheroes of America or whatever.
So the sword master is like the general of this military group.
Yeah, well,
Yeah.
it's fucking Shinichi dude, and
Yeah.
so it's like I guess he is actually being kept like in prison. Everyone else is like being kept in sort of like a temple or something where they could probably like walk around and live. And he seems to maybe be, not that. Like maybe they got him in like a dungeon or something. Like, yeah, you're fucking psycho, or we can't have you out here or whatever.
Yeah.
hmm
But I think I'm spent, man. I think I squeezed everything out of me for this chapter. What about you, Weeb?
I think I'm good.
Okay. What about you, Knox?
Balls drained.
And Traffy, how about you?
Yeah, skeeted everything out of me.
Jesus Christ. All right. So that's going to be it for Kagurabachi chapter 57. And with that, that's going to conclude episode 7 of the Shonen Post podcast. If you stuck around to the end, you're a champion. We love you. We appreciate you. As always, our socials and all that good stuff will be in the description below, along with timestamps for skipping stuff if you choose to do that. Please make sure to like the video if you haven't already, subscribe if you aren't already, and drop some comments below. We will be going through those comments. I know I personally can't get enough of just reading comments. Sounds funny, but I read them all the time, man. So drop the comments. We'll read them. We'll comment. We reply to a lot of them. So do that. Help yourself. And we'll catch y'all on the next one. Holla.